Hi guys. Hi. I figured I'd go live for a little bit because I got home from work and knocked out and I don't feel like filming right now. So I was like, well, I guess I can go live for a little bit. So I wanted to come and say hi to you guys and talk a little bit. How's everybody doing? I like having conversations with you guys. So if you guys have any questions that I can answer, because I don't know all the answers yet. Because you know what's funny is that you guys are going through this process with me. Like, literally my whole waking up process has essentially been documented on TikTok. So you guys are going through the process with me too. Oh, thank you. I am a server. I also went to school for beauty and special effects makeup. Thank you. Am I high? No, I just woke up from a nap. Actually, I put myself in hypnosis and it was so crazy. So, that was the first time I did that. Oh my God, San Diego, yeah. Yeah, I know my eyes look really tired because I just woke up. I was born in 2012 and had a pre-K assignment. The date, said 2012. What's hypnosis? It's like when you put yourself in a trance and like I did it to like tap into my higher self. It's crazy that people know how the universe was created like nobody was there. Yeah. But we do have ancient artifacts that can show us stuff from the beginning of time. To me, my year is 2022. And I put that video up about ask Siri when the next blue moon is, and I have had so many screenshots of people getting different results between 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. I need to make another video about that. I've gotten a ton of screenshots from people showing me that like all the glitches in their phones, and it's just confirmation that we're in a matrix. My birth year is 1987. My family, I don't talk to my family, only my sister. And my sister is the only one that is also in my soul family, according to my Akashic Records reading. Her and I have always had a really strong connection, and apparently she's been my mom in another life, and I've been her mom in another life, and so we've always had a connection. So everyone else is my family. I've just apparently had them. I've known them before from other lifetimes of being, because you can have memories imprinted in your brain essentially. So apparently I've known them from other lives, but they're not a part of my soul family. I just don't talk to them just because their souls are very young and don't understand this, and they don't respect boundaries, and for you to be spiritual doesn't mean that you have to be a doormat. So if you have people in your life that are keeping your energy low and refuse to help you level up and are always keeping you in that low vibration, you can just detach yourself from those people. And just because they're your family doesn't mean you have to be around them, because they're keeping you in the sunken place essentially. So I just ended up having to cut them off on January 11th, 111. But my mom's birthday is coming up on next Sunday, so I am probably gonna reach out to say happy birthday. I texted my dad on his birthday on February 24th to say happy birthday. But I just did a hypnosis right now on myself, and it was so crazy. I've never done it before. And I listened to this guided hypnosis, and it was to connect to my higher self, and it was so crazy. So I got into the trance, and then it said I was supposed to repeat the questions after the guy doing it, and he said where am I in my life right now? And so I was supposed to ask that question, but I don't know if I asked the question out loud because I was under hypnosis, but I in my brain I knew I was asking the question, but I couldn't hear myself. I don't know if my voice was actually speaking out loud or not. And so I asked, like, where am I in my life right now? And I all of a sudden felt all of these arms come onto my chest and push me down, and like down, 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 like all of these hands and all of these people just pushing me down. And I was like in my bed, like sinking under. And then all of a sudden they like all let go, and I was like lifted back up, like over the water, and I could like breathe again. And I was like, holy shit. But I was still under hypnosis. So it's not like I like woke up and like saw, opened my eyes. I just like saw it all under hypnosis, and I was like, oh my God. And then it said like, what is my next step? And then I asked that, and then I saw my mom's face. So I was like, okay, I gotta, I guess, like reach out to my mom, or like, let go of that. I don't not like hold resentment, but it's just like, I'd rather just not have to deal with her because she's very religious. And so this is something that she's not ever going to understand. And that's part of what my reading said. Was that she will never understand or acknowledge the trauma. Like, they won't understand acknowledge the trauma they caused, because their souls are too young and they're in denial. So I just have to like forgive and forget. Well, forgive and not forget, because you don't forget. You can just forgive and like be like, okay, like I understand that your soul is just not on this level, so I just have to like accept that. But it doesn't mean that I have to have a relationship with them, because it's just not there. I don't have to have people in my life that are not going to be supportive or aren't going to understand me or anything. My sister is like my best friend. And so she, she's was more awake when she was born. But she's not like at this level right now. So my guide said that she was sent to me to like help be like a, essentially like a protection for me, and like build the space for me to be able to be who I really am. But that she's more spiritually like younger than me, and I'm like speeding through everything. But yeah, I'm so much happier now. Like, just having to deal with that drama and that energy and the soul sucking energy. It's like energy vampires. Like, it's just not worth it. And you need to put yourself first. Oh my God, Jonah, are you here? I'd love to talk to you if you want to come on. Let's see. Can you do more on Atlantis? Okay, so I do have a video coming about Atlantis and the Egyptians. So I was watching on Gaia, Lisa Royal channel, the Sirius ambassador Haman, which Haman means integration in the planet of Sirius, or civilization. Because I guess they're not really planets. Like, I guess we do have a galaxy. And when I was on my shrooms trip, I kept saying like, yeah, I'm not from here, and I know about all the other galaxies. And I didn't know about this, like none of this. This was just what came to me on my shrooms trip. And I was speaking it out loud, and because I recorded the whole shrooms trip, I have that on tape. Like, I don't on tape. I'm like so old. In my camera, I don't remember saying that, but I did say that. I said, yeah, I know the other galaxies. And then I said, at one point I started crying, and I was like, can I go home already? Like, these humans don't listen to me. They're so stupid. I was like, these stupid humans don't listen to me. I can't do this anymore. I can't help them. I'm trying to help them and they don't listen. I don't remember any of that. So that's all filmed, which people have been asking me to do a video on my shrooms trip for YouTube. And so I need to do that. It's just like, it's so time consuming to do all the stuff I'm doing while also working a job. Okay, so let's see. Where was there's so many comments. Let's see. No, I don't. This is like all, I guess, spirituality, not like, not religious or pagan or witch or nothing. Like, we're all one. And I don't like the labels. Because like our souls, like somebody asked, like, will God still love me if I'm gay? And I'm like, yeah, God, like, your soul doesn't have a gender. So don't worry about it. Like, God loves you no matter what. Let's see. Do I believe the earth is flat? Okay, so literally like a week ago, I made a video where I was like, I don't believe the earth is flat, right? Like 100%. I was like, the flat earthers are fucking cuckoo. Absolutely not. And I literally had a friend that like messaged me and was like, let me know when you find out that the earth is flat. And I was like, haha, no, it's not. But then when I made the video saying I don't think the earth is flat, I got a bunch of people saying the earth is a firmament. And I was like, what's a firmament? And so then I went down that rabbit hole. And I'm like, oh, well, I could see that. Like, because we don't really know what the truth is. And I really don't, I've never believed that we were like a globe, because the whole like center of gravity thing just never made sense to me logically. And like, you know, like how can people be upside down, but like we're not upside down? Like, it just doesn't, it's never made sense my entire life. And I went to the NASA station, by the way, the Kennedy Space Center, because I'm from Florida. I have pictures at the Kennedy Space Center, like, with all the shit. So it's like, I'm like, I know this shit's, like, all made up. So, I never believed it. And so I'm like, oh, a firmament kind of makes sense. Because, like, if we're an alien experiment, they could just create us anyway. And so they created this little civilization, with, like, we probably just live in, like, a snow globe. And there's the globe on top, because okay, let's also think about The Simpsons showed us in a dome, The Truman Show showed us in a dome, Hunger Games showed us in a dome, and people who have like, I saw a video of where people could see the grid in the sky, and they recorded it, and I saw it. I literally saw the grid in the sky. I'm like, we're in a fucking matrix. Like, this is not real. And a lot of people have said they've seen like the grid in the sky and stuff. And then also they like, people say, well, what about time zones? Okay, we already know time's made up. Okay, we got that down. And then they said, well, what about the sun and the moon? Well, if the sun and there's another cartoon too that was talking about it, but I don't remember what it's called, where he was talking about how we live in a dome or it's flat or whatever. And then he said, people are like, what about the sun and the moon? And he's like, well, it just rotates around the dome. So that's how like it goes around. And then also if like, the stars are supposed to be traveling through time, whatever, or we are, and then it's like the stars are in the same place every single night. It's like, it's just like like when you're in a dome at like a museum and you see like the stars, that's literally what, all the world's a stage, okay? All the world is a stage. And so that's what we need to remember. And that's part of what Lisa Royale said when she channeled the Sirius ambassador. He said, all the world's a stage, and you guys, I don't know how your people have made so many different versions of virtual realities with phones and video games and movies and TVs and so many different versions of virtual reality that you guys can't realize that you are also a virtual reality. Like, you are in a hologram. And when you realize that your 3D self is just here, and like, that's when you can and you can detach from your consciousness, can detach from your 3D self to your 5D self, then you can start seeing that like you really do need to well, Bible studies heckling you. You made him who? Oh, I'm not even reading the stuff. Wait, are you talking about the there was a pastor that just commented on my video, and I said, hi pastor, welcome to the truth, because I mean, I grew up during, you know, with all the church stuff all the time. So then when you like are able to like back up and then see your from your 5D self to your 3D self, that's when you realize that like this is all made up. We are all merely players in a game, and we have the power to change the game. They have just conditioned us to be zombies. And so that was another question somebody asked. Are we zombies? We already are zombies, and I mean that in the zombie form of, there's a book called Stephen King's The Cell. I read that when I was a kid too. And I was like, oh my God, this could really happen. And people were just addicted to their phones, and they ended up getting like this, like a brain shit, and their brain exploded and all this shit. Like, they turned into like zombies because of the cell phone. And I'm like, facts. So I haven't seen Player One. Oh, I didn't know it was Ryan. I haven't seen Player One, but I do need to see it. But The Cell, yeah. Can somebody, Rachel, can you tell me a little more about it? Because I bought it as a kid, and I got like halfway through it, and I think I stopped reading it. Good movies on Hulu or Netflix. I do have a video up on what movies you should watch. Definitely watch Inside Job. Go on the documentaries. Watch any documentaries that have to do with like food. Oh, on Hulu, watch Dope Sick. It's not a documentary, but it is a show that is based off real life and the pharmaceutical company with the opioid epidemic, and how the FDA approved everything without any regulations just because they wanted to sell more, and that's how they got everybody sucked into the opioid epidemic, and they killed a lot of people with that. They ended up getting sued, and they technically they didn't get in any trouble. They just aren't allowed to sell it anymore, the OxyContin. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Also, watch any documentaries that have to do with our food. God, there's so many documentaries. I love watching documentaries. Thank you, Ashley. Okay, my opinion on shifting. You mean like shifting realities, like how I just shifted? Um, okay, so I started shifting in 2020. So like, first of all, I was born like I was supposed to die when I was born. I was born with my umbilical cord around my neck. I had no oxygen. My mom didn't even get to like hold me when I was born. They rushed me out of the room and like tried to revive me. And I was like blue. My mom didn't even have to push me out. I just slipped out because I was like essentially dead when I was born, right? So then they told her like, oh, she's gonna have like learning disabilities growing up, and I didn't have learning disabilities. I did have to wear like certain boots to walk because I was pigeon toed, so I had to wear like these boots that like helped me straighten my feet out. I also had like this right here. It's like really close to the front of my tongue, so my tongue is really short. Isn't that so weird? My tongue is super short. It's like abnormally short. And so I couldn't like roll my R's, and I'm from Puerto Rico. So like they would like give me $1 to try to roll my R's until I finally learned how to roll my R's. And then one year, when I was like a little older, like a teenager, I was brushing my teeth and I hit the bottom of it and like sliced it open. That shit hurt so bad. And it was like New Year's Eve too. So anyways, I've been through like a lot of shit growing up. But I did always love this symbol, the yin yang symbol, which was interesting because I was just born like always drawing this, and I always would buy like things with this sign, like clothes or jewelry, but I wasn't allowed to wear jewelry growing up. I would buy like keychains, like any stuff like this, and my mom was like, stop, like that's not of God. And I'm like, what do you mean they're trying to take this live down? And she's like, that's not of God, like you can't be wearing that, don't be doing that, blah blah blah. And so I lost my interest in that, and then I was just like raised really religious, but like nothing made sense in my head. I remember just being like, my mom would present God in a certain way, which was like an angry God, a vengeful God. If you don't do what he says, he's going to, you're going to go to hell. And I'm like, I don't believe that. I don't think that God would do that, because it's like, it was just so contradictory to the Bible. It's like, if God loves you, why would he create you to then condemn you, right? So like I never believed that. I never believed in the whole like, why am I glitching? That's so weird. I have literally full bars and like I'm on Wi-Fi. What the fuck? Do you guys think that I should exit out and come back in? Oh, I have a video coming on how to connect to your inner child. Yes, God did create us, and God isn't like a person. So just think of it as a being, a source, a light, whatever. We don't know what God really is, but yes, there is a God. Okay, so, oh, that's so annoying. Okay, is it okay now? It's my energy, yeah, probably. Okay, sorry, real quick, how to connect to your inner child. You have to heal your inner child for you to be able to level up, which was part of my leveling up process. You have to go back to your trauma, and forgive it. But you don't have to forgive the person, like in real life, like you don't have to. Wait, you guys want me to go back out and come back in? Is it glitching really bad? Okay. Okay, I'll go out and come back in. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so about your inner child, I was just saying that like it's part of the process of waking up is leaving the victim mentality. Our society is very much in the victim mentality instead of like taking the power back. And it's not to say that what happened to you isn't valid or that it didn't happen. It is valid and it did happen. But we don't have to live in the victim mindset for our whole lives, because that is what keeps us stuck in the 3D. So what you want to do is realize that like you are the creator of your own reality, and you don't have to stay like sad and depressed. And I know it's easier said than done. Believe me, I know. I've been there. I I was so angry at everything and everyone and my trauma and the relationships I had been in and the, you know, the things that I grew up with and whatever. Like, I was just angry, and I was stuck in essentially the victim mentality of like, well, you know, it's because of this and it's because of that, and I act this way because of this and because of that, and I wasn't taking responsibility for myself. And it's not that like I didn't cause these things just happened to me, but I was putting the blame on those things instead of moving forward. And I was like, last year I did like online meetup therapy type thing because I couldn't afford to actually go to therapy. So then I did like this online meetup therapy thing, and a lot of the people in there were very much still in the victim mentality, whereas I was starting to leave the victim mentality, where I was like, I don't have to stay stuck in that. Like, I can move on, right? But then I went to that and I saw like how they had been struggling with this victim mentality for like, you know, 10 years, and they're still harboring this pain and this, and I'm like, damn, like, this is not for me. Because like I literally went on there and I was like, yeah guys, like, I just think we really need to heal, and we really just need to move on from it. And I'm like, God, they fucking hated me. They hated me at that fucking meetup because I was like, oh, I think I shouldn't have said that. And it wasn't trying to like be dismissive of their feelings or their trauma. It was just like, guys, you can't stay stuck in this forever. As someone who, because here's the thing, here's why I think that, and I know now that I chose the family that I did. My parents never healed through their trauma, and my mom is still very much stuck in her, hasn't healed her inner child and what happened to her as a child. So she is still angry at the world and sees everyone as they're out to get her and can't trust anyone, and the world is ugly and evil, and that is her perception. That is how, through her eyes, that is how she sees the world. And because she's religious, she's been waiting for, you know, the end of days her whole entire life, and she like lives off of this stuff. And I'm like, lady, how can you live like this every day? So as a child of someone who had like, whose mother was going through that, I tell people all the time, do not have kids until you have healed your inner child, because you're going to pass on that trauma to your child because you aren't fully healed yet. And so I have never wanted kids. My whole entire life, I've never wanted kids. And because as a kid, I saw what I had to deal with, and I was like, I would never want a kid or put a kid through this. Like, no. And I remember telling my mom, I was like, I don't want a kid because I don't want them to feel the way that you do with me. And it was like, I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I knew in my head that like, I wasn't the perfect image of a child that she wanted, even though I was trying so hard to do literally everything that she wanted and be the perfect child in a way to make her happy, because I was like a people pleaser in that way. And she was still not happy. Like, nothing was ever enough. And so it felt like I was just constantly trying to achieve something that I just wasn't going to achieve. And I was like, I can't have a kid because I don't ever want them. Like, it would be my karma. Like, that's what I used to think. Like, oh, if I have a kid, like, it's going to be my karma because she made me feel like I wasn't doing good enough. And like, I know those weren't her intentions. But that is how I was feeling. And, you know, that's why I just don't talk to them now, because it's like, what's the point? Like, all you're going to do is just like put me down. Like, when I started my Chili's thing, when I started exposing Chili's, they were both like, well, my mom was like, oh, I'm like proud of you, but like, I'm really scared. Like, what if they come after you or they sue you? And I'm like, wow, well, for being a woman of God, like you claim you are, you sure do live in fear a lot. Because it's true. It's like these people who say that they're, you know, people of God, all they do is live their life in fear. And it's like, well, if you really trusted God, you wouldn't be living in fear. Like, that's contradictory once again. And then with my dad, he was just like, okay, like, that's enough. I think that you can let other people, you know, deal with the Chili's thing. Like, you don't have to keep doing it for them. And I'm just like, neither of you want to be supportive with anything I'm doing. Like, nothing is ever enough. So I'm just not going to talk to you guys anymore. And then it was like the constant like calling me ungrateful or unappreciative or disrespectful, or, all these name callings and putting down and all this stuff. And it's like, well, you're stuck with me because I'm your mom. You're stuck with me because I'm your dad. I said, at one point, I literally said, I don't even like you guys as people. Like, I don't like you guys as people. This is all through my shift. So in 2020, 2019, I was at my lowest, and I was so over everything. I remember in September or October, I was going out with my friend to like a Halloween event, and I told her, I was like, I'm fucking over this. I was like, I don't give a shit about being in the whole thing I wanted in my, God, there's so many thoughts in my head right now. I'm sorry. Ever since I was little, the only thing I ever wanted in my life was unconditional love. I used to say, I just want someone to love me that doesn't have to love me. And now, understanding that I am from Sirius B, literally my civilization is all about showing unconditional love and healing. And so it's crazy that I was born with that want and that need, because I didn't feel the unconditional love from my parents, because it was conditional. As long as I followed their standards and their rules, then I would be loved. But if I didn't, then I was not a good person. So that's not unconditional love. So I was constantly wanting that unconditional love from someone. And that is why I ended up falling into bad relationships, because I was like seeking that love. And then I learned that this behavior from my parents was okay, to put me down and to, not be nice to me and to put on these limitations on me, and then say, well, I'm doing it because I love you. Well, that's abuse. Okay. So whether you want to acknowledge it or not, you want to live in denial for your whole life, that is abuse, to tell someone that I'm treating you shitty because I love you. So when I got into relationships and my boyfriends were being assholes to me and I was crying every day, they're like, well, I love you. And I was like, okay, because that's what I was raised to think. So and then they would get on me about like, why are you with these shitty guys? And it's like, well, you're not any better. Like, what did you expect me to think? Like, what did you expect me to do? Like, you literally raised me to think that like this is okay. So anyways, so 2019 was when I was at my lowest, and I was like, whatever, I'm done with guys. I was drinking a lot. I was smoking a lot, which like I never do any of that stuff. And then I was like sleeping with guys and not giving a shit about anything. And I remember my best friend came from North Carolina, and I told her, I was like, I don't give a fuck about anything. And she's like, this isn't you. Like, this isn't you. You've been my best friend since we were like 14. Like, what's going on? And I was like, I just don't give a shit. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't like living here. I don't like this planet. Like, I hate life. I hated everything. I was so over it. I was at my complete lowest point in my life because I felt stuck. And I remember my sister was like, I think I'm going to move to San Diego when my lease ends in June of 2020. And I had always wanted to move to LA. And originally I came to LA in 2012, interestingly enough. And I wanted to move, but I hadn't ever lived on my own. So I was like, okay, well, let me first move out of my parents' house, live on my own, and then I'll go. Well, I ended up not ever moving to LA. Thank God, because that's full of bad spirits and energy. So I ended up, staying in Florida, and my sister was like, I think I'm gonna, why do parents talk shit about us and then ask why we don't talk to them? Exactly. It's like at one point, at some point I'm like, I'm 35. Like, I don't have to have a relationship with you. I'm an adult and you still see me as a child. So I'm going to just have to cut you off. And so my sister was like, I think I'm going to move to, San Diego. And I was like, oh my God, I'll move with you. I literally need to leave. I can't stand anything here. There's nothing holding me back. Like, I was just working at Chili's and I wasn't in a relationship. And so it's like, there was nothing keeping me there. And I was like, I need to leave. I want to leave everything I know. I don't want to be here. I hate everything. And this is the only thing I can do to try to maybe better my perspective, is just leaving everything I know and figuring it out. And so in January of 2020 was when that lady came to Chili's. And I don't know if you guys heard the story. It was the one I posted after the Ethiopian calendar one. She came into Chili's and she asked me if I had a boyfriend. And I was like, no, ew, gross, no thank you. And she was like, oh my God, but you're so pretty. And I was like, oh, thanks. But like, that doesn't mean I need to be in a relationship. And she was like, that's when she started having like a vision of me. And she was like, I have to tell you something. Like, I'm so sorry. I just have to say it. And then she's like, listen, I know you're going through a lot. I know you're going through a lot. She didn't know anything. She didn't know me. She literally just sat down and started telling me this. And she's like, I know you're going through a lot. And I was going through drama with people at work. And she's like, I know you're going through shit with people here. Don't listen to them. They don't mean anything. They don't matter. And then she's like, you have so many big things ahead of you. Like, God has heard your prayers, and he's going to answer them. You're going to have more than you ever dreamed of. Like, you don't even know all the blessings you have headed your way. And I started just like crying because I was like, what the fuck is going on? And she was like, don't give up. She's like, everything is going to be really confusing right now, but it'll make sense in your 40s. And at that point, it was 2020. So that was 2 years ago. And in my 40s, it'll essentially be when the new earth is supposed to start. So I was like, ooh, that makes sense. And she was like, don't give up. And I was like, okay, that was weird. But it like set me chills and I started crying. And then after that, I was serving another table and this lady stops me mid-sentence and she was like, what's your name? And I was like, Alex. She's like, Alex, you're going to be in charge of something. You're going to be leading something really big. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, I don't know. You're going to be leading something, managing something. You're going to be in charge of something really big. And I was like, what? I was like, is it in San Diego? That's where I'm moving. And she was like, well, that's where it could start, but I don't know if that's where it's going to end. And I was like, okay. And then after that, I had like every table telling me like, you're going to do big things. Like, you're going to do great in San Diego. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? It was like super weird, right? And then COVID hit. And then I started my Alex Serves account. Well, I started that in January as well. And then I before COVID hit, I had gone viral on Alex Serves, which is my skit account. And so that one blew up. And then I kept that going from like February to what is it? I think from February to like May or June, I had hit 100K on there. So that was cool. And then my sister and I were like, I was like, are we gonna still move? And she was like, yeah, I'm still moving. But it was COVID, so I was like, what are we gonna do? So we made it happen. Like, we literally manifested what we wanted and we got it. We wrote down everything we wanted for our place, like what we wanted. The realtor was like, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think they're gonna give it to you at this price. And we're like, yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. Just let them know that that's what we want. And they gave it to us for less than we even asked for. We got everything we wanted, like that we wrote down. And so he was even surprised. He was like, oh, okay. And he was like really Christian. So it's funny because that was also like a testament to be like, just have faith. Like, you can get anything that you ask for. And so, so we ended up moving in June 14th of 2020. But before that was when I really started having my awakening. So like we shut down in March for COVID, and then through those months, because we were moving, my mom was going through a really hard time with us moving because she's, a narcissist, and narcissists don't want to lose control. And so she was spiraling and she was fighting with us every day. And it's like, we were going to move across the country and you're still fighting with us, it was like our birthdays and she still was fighting with us. And it was just so much. It's like, she really felt like, and that's when I started just being like, dude, I'm moving and like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I just don't care. You got to chill out. Like, what's wrong with you? So, when we finally were leaving, like right before we were leaving, that's when I ended up having my awakening at one point. I was really emotional. I was crying a lot. Like, I didn't understand why, but I was crying a lot. I was packing up my apartment and I was finding old journals and reading through them. And, I was reading all of the things about like my past, and like everything was just like, it was always so negative, but I was always like, well, I'm just going to have faith. Everything will be okay. Like, I was just like, it's okay. I know better things are ahead. That's all I kept saying, was like trying to be positive through all the negativity. And finally, I had my awakening, in the shower. I was crying in the shower. And I literally I had like an out of body experience, and I saw myself like in the shower. And I was like so tiny, and I was bawling, and I saw what my perception of God is. And he was very big and gold, and he was like hugging me, and I was like so small, and he was so big, and he was like, you don't have to worry anymore. It's over. it's done. You don't have to cry anymore. You don't have to hurt anymore. It's done. And I was like bawling. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And I remember I like told my mom about it too, because like it's still weird. Like I was always very close to my mom, very close. She was like my best friend, but then she like treated me like shit when I didn't do things that she liked. So it was a very toxic relationship. And that's why right now this is like really hard for me to not talk to her, because she's like, I miss talking to you so much. And I'm like, I know, but like you weren't nice to me when I would share things with you. You would use them against me. So like, why would I want to keep talking to you? So then, I had shared that with her and everything. And then I ended up moving, and, I don't know who this is, so I'm just claiming this. I ended up moving, and then I went through my whole awakening here too. So I moved on June 14th, and it was really hard. I moved here, and you know, I still had the job at Chili's, and I ended up getting fired a few months later because of a TikTok post, which is such bullshit, because I didn't even mention them or anything. So it was really dumb. And then that's when I started talking more about Chili's and exposing them a little. And then I was like having really hard time finding a job because everything was on lockdown, and I was just going through so many emotions. I had so many ups and down, up and down, up and down. I ended up going back in February to Florida, and I was like, I want to move back. I miss it so much, blah, blah, blah. And my sister was like, don't do it. Don't do it. You will stay stuck there forever if you don't see this through. And I was like, okay. And then I ended up staying, and I'm so grateful that I did. I needed it. And it's like, it's really hard when you move away from everything you know. Thank God I had my sister, but you move away from everything you know, and you're trying to find out who you really are. It's a whole process. So it was really hard. I was getting a lot of headaches, a lot of headaches. I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like my clothes started fitting weird. My hair was different. My hair isn't the same as it was before. Like there were so many things that I was like, what's happening? And then if you guys go through my simulation playlist, you see that I'm like, am I on the Truman Show? There's like cars following me, and like it sounds like crazy movie stuff, but I was like, there's people jumping in front of my car, there's cars following me. It's like it felt like there were like entities just like coming at me and like trying to like stop me from doing what, like getting in the way of me like proceeding with life. And I was like, it's like they were trying to make my life hell so that I could like just go back to the cycle of the bullshit that I was in Florida. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I feel like just the more that I kept going, and just like I started my Exposed to Pepper series in May of last year. And I wish I had lost weight. I gained weight, unfortunately. So I started my Exposed to Pepper series in May of last year, and that is what really blew up this account. I kept having videos go viral on here, which what I never meant to. This was supposed to be my backup account, but I kind of stopped making my Karen skits. I had drama going on with other shit with another creator that happened, but we're good now. We talked it out. But anyway, there was drama going on. And then, so that like put me at a low point where I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? I've worked so hard, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, it's all happens for a reason. So like that had to happen so that I can come here and do this. And so then I started my Exposed to Pepper series, and then that got me a bunch of attention with like people telling me their stories, and I was able to share everybody's stories through that. And I was able to get in contact with like the organizations that I work with Rock United, Restaurant Opportunity Centers United, and then with One Fair Wage. And I've been able to like help people learn about their workers' rights and advocate for that, and teach people about, you know, the restaurant industry and how abusive and exploitative it is. And I can help people report them to the EEOC. And so like the more that I worked on things that I liked, the more that I fell into my purpose. And so people say like, how do I find out my purpose? It's like, or how do I open my third eye? That's kind of like what you need to do is like, just be true to you. When you focus on like who you really are on the inside, and stop giving a single fuck about anyone's opinion of you, which I never cared about anyone's opinion of me. The only person that I cared about was my mother. She was always in the back of my head because I always felt like she was like going to be disappointed in me on any little thing, but I would like do things and she's like, nothing would make her happy. So I was like, okay, at this point, who fucking cares? And so, when you just stop giving a shit about people, like you will be so much happier. Cause like you have to understand that like people don't pay your bills. and you don't pay their bills. So who cares what job you do? People love to ask me, when are you gonna stop serving? My parents would be like, why don't you open up your own restaurant? Why don't you have your own makeup line? Because I went to school for makeup. Well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I'm like, why don't you mind your own fucking business? Okay, because I'm fine going to work for 4 hours, making $100, coming home and chilling, because that's what I want to do. I don't want to slave away at a job. I never wanted to slave away at a job. I never wanted to get married or have kids. I never wanted to do the normal bullshit that everybody wanted to do. I'm fine with going to work, serving, making money, going home, and not having to fucking worry about it. I liked serving because I got to socialize. I like to be around people. I love food. I like to eat free food at the restaurant. I liked cash on hand, and I liked making my own schedule. And everyone wants to talk down on it, but I'm like, I love it. I make my money. I pay my bills. My bills are paid. Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself. But people always want to worry about everybody else. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I do not give a fuck what you think. So obviously I don't, because that's why I'm here and making this content, because I really don't give a fuck. So, okay, this person keeps asking, are we going to die after 3 to 4 years? So if we don't raise the collective consciousness and all realize that this is a made-up reality and that we can change the narrative and the timelines, we will eventually, yes. Because they will destroy civilization like they have with the Egyptians and with Atlantis and with everything before us, because they keep having to start over because we keep fucking it up. We keep fucking up this planet because they have given us unlimited free will. And not we, but, you know, the people running this place, get hungry with power and greed and selfishness. And so, they're destroying the planet right now. So that is why a lot of us had to wake up in 2020, and a lot of us felt the shift in 2020. So I know a lot of you felt the shift. A lot of you are messaging me about feeling the shift. A lot of you have been awake for a long time and just felt really alone. And a lot of you guys are messaging me your stories and are like, I literally like felt like I was crazy, and now I feel like I can talk to someone. And I'm like, yeah, you definitely can, because I never felt like I was normal. I always felt like I was crazy. And now people are like, oh my God, I'm also crazy. And I'm like, yeah, let's be crazy together. I never fell into the bullshit. Like, I mean, I did fall into it. I was very asleep, but I never really in my soul bought into it. I was like, this just all seems like made up bullshit, you know? So many of you guys have like shared your stories with me, and I love hearing them. They're amazing. Yes, I am the girl that calls chilies out. That's the first playlist on my page. I woke up from the simulation. So woke up and realized that like, this is not real. Our souls are just living the human experience. Our souls have been here before. We've done this before. He says she's saying that the body she's living in now is not hers. You know, it does feel like that, because you know what's crazy, and I will make a video about this. It's crazy that my video blew up about calendars and time, when I'm sure you guys have seen my clock wall about time, and I have a calendar right here. And the thing is that I've always been obsessed with calendars. I write in my calendar every day what I did for that day ever since I was like 12 years old, but as of right now I have it up to 2007. I have a stack of calendars like this big where I wrote every single day what happened that day so that I could remember. And I think that's really weird that I did that. It was like I knew that one day I would forget my memories, so I was like, let me go ahead and write everything down. So one day I need to make a video of you guys. I need to make a video for you guys showing you all of my calendars that I have, and yeah, they're all Maryland calendars. So it's so crazy that like then I went viral. Oh, I also have a video coming about the beginning of the end. Oh, well, here we go. What's a topic you really want to talk about? What habit? Okay, so I'll tell you guys this. I will be making a video. I do have a video in my drafts. I just haven't posted it yet. So, in 2006, I had a dream that President Bush was talking in front of a large crowd. And then the next scene was President Bush in front of this crowd with Jesus in front of him and an apple with a knife in it. And Jesus was very disappointed. And then in the next scene, I saw myself and 3 other people walking down a dirt road. And then we get down to the end of a brick wall, and we're just like stuck in this like brick wall. And I heard a voice say, just walk through it. And we're like, what? And it was like, yeah, just walk through it. And so we walk through the wall. And, oh, by the way, when we were walking down the brick road, I saw like a bunch of rainbows in the sky. And then we walked through the brick wall, and I had to climb this like gold and dirt castle. And then when I climbed the castle, I go to the other side, and then it was like heaven, and it was like clouds jumping. And so now it all makes sense to me with everything that is going on. Bush was the beginning of the end. So the age of Pisces ended in essentially 1999. The age of Aquarius started in 2000. President Bush got elected into presidency in 2000. 9/11 happened 2001. And that was the beginning of the essentially apocalypse. That was the beginning of the end. So I think my dream was a representation. When I saw Jesus with the apple and the knife and President Bush, it was like the end of the age of Pisces. And that, Bush was like the beginning of the introducing the beginning of the end of the age of Pisces and starting to the age of Aquarius. And 9/11 is also a really big number too. But yeah, so it was crazy because I wrote that down. That happened on October 26, 2006. And like now it all makes sense. It all makes sense. So now we're entering the age of Aquarius, or well, we are in the age of Aquarius, but the shift takes some time for everybody to shift. So right now we're in like the awakening phase, and it's the 4D, we're ascending into the 4D. Once we really are all in the 5D, that'll be the awaken phase, but that's going to be a very long time from now, and I don't know if we're all going to be here for it. We're right now in the awakening phase because it's like there's a half and half of people. That some people are awake and some people are asleep. So right now we're in the awakening phase. I was in 9th grade history class when 9/11 happened, and that's so crazy. What are the different phases? Well, every phase lasts about 2,160 years. So the age of, that's what they say, but then the age of Aquarius is supposed to be from 2000 to 4000, which is 2,000 years. So I guess maybe they say 2,160 of like between shifts and stuff. So I don't like when people like ask me to go live with them when I like don't know them, because I don't feel like talking to you like about, it's like random people are like asking me, not you guys, just like people that are live right now that are just on live and want to like talk to other people, and I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about on your page. Does the shifting affect your memory? Yes. Which I think is why I always knew to write everything down. I always kept pictures of everything. I take screenshots of everything. I wrote everything in my calendar. I think it's because I guess in my head I knew like one day I'm gonna forget. Yeah, it's crazy. I had the Mandela effect that, oh wait, what did you know? Do we have to wait for boomers to die out? God, it can't be soon enough. My necklace is yin yang, which is all about balance, which is what we all need to like realize, is that you can't have good without bad. It's like charging a battery. You have a negative and a positive, but it all balances out. So it's not like everything has to be positive all the time. You do need a balance. So like they say that the people that got woken up had a lot of trauma in their childhood or in their past lives, and it's because duality, because they needed to experience that to get to where they are now, because you can't enjoy the good without the bad, and you can't like help others heal without the trauma that you went through yourself. So that's also a part of healing your inner child, is like healing everything that you went through. And like I said, you don't have to have contact with the person who hurt you. You just have to forgive them for yourself, and not forgive like, I forgive you. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna let it go. I'm not gonna hold on to that anger and the resentment, because I'm gonna stay stuck in this anger forever. So that's essentially how like like me cutting my mom off or my parents off, it's like I'm fine. Like I don't feel like I want to talk to them, but I'm not angry. But I was angry, and they trigger me a lot, so that's why I just have to keep my distance, because I can't have the triggering. And I'm like, I'd rather just not talk to you. But I'm not angry, and I just have to accept that like their souls are just younger, and they're always gonna be in, denial pretty much. Are Christians asleep? I think a lot of them are, yes, because they like, even my mom thinks that she's not religious, and that she just, she follows the Bible and God, but no, she's religious because she refuses to really do research and realize that the Bible has been, edited and translated, and books have been taken out and things have been added for so many times. And she's like, no, the word is holy. And it's like, yeah, but you realize that man has free will to change it and alter it. So it may have been written with the good intentions in the beginning, but somewhere down the line it got fucked up. And that's essentially what happened with that's why we lost ourselves, and that's why we all have to wake up, because we let the propaganda of religion and politics put us to sleep. Do I believe in religion? I mean, I believe that religion exists. I just don't believe that I don't believe that there should be religion. Religion divides people. People like to use labels, and I don't think that we should use labels. We shouldn't use labels for who we are or what we do. I think we just are, we just are. We shouldn't have to be like, oh, I'm Christian, I'm this, I'm that, I'm whatever. Like, if you want to, but yes, labels limit you. Labels put limits. And like, let's remember that like words are also made up by man. And if we really look into the English language, words have a lot of meaning behind them, and they did that on purpose, like spelling. And they say that like the happy birthday song is like, what did they say about the happy birthday song? It's like to remind you, it's like essentially like a curse or whatever, like you're getting older. Some people don't like to sing the happy birthday song. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, religion is the cause of a lot of destruction and a lot of evil, especially the Catholic Church. Yeah, so the Bible was written by people who had the Holy Spirit in them. Okay, sure. Yeah, at the beginning of time. But not anymore. So if you look through like the King James version or whatever, all the different versions that were edited, I mean, like the Catholics took out like 14 books out of the Bible, I think, and created their own Bible. And like the whole homosexuality thing was not originally in the Bible. I don't know how, I don't know why people ever believed that. I never believed it. I never believed the fornicating thing either. I just thought, okay, just like, don't be a whore. Like, just don't go sleeping with everyone. But I never believed in the whole, like, oh, you have to be married to, like, have sex with someone. I'm like, I don't believe it. Do you believe in a higher power at all? Yes. There is definitely a higher power that created us all. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. And that's what we all need to realize, that there is. We've also lost that. We've lost our connection to God or source, or whatever people call it, source, because we don't really know. We've just put the word God on there. Oh, people have been telling me to watch What's in the Waters. Oh, 333 views. Amazing. Yeah, Catholics, I think that they did. And they also changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday, and they also crucified Jesus. So it's like, why are we following them? Like, you know what I'm saying? And they also like love little kids. So they're not good. They're not good at all. Yeah, everybody tells me to watch that. There's so many things that people have been telling me to watch. Is it normal to feel like life is a dream? Yes, because that's something that I asked my spirit guides, and I asked like, when we dream, do we go into alternate realities? And they said yes. They said right now we are living in a waking dream, but when we dream, we go into different dimensions and different realities, alternate realities. So those things do happen in other dimensions, like what we dream. But but the memories of our dreams when we wake up are apparently just imprints that they put into our brain, so like we can remember what they want us to remember from what happened in that reality. I don't know what back rooms are. Somebody asked me that and I don't know what it is. Yeah, I have a lot of crazy dreams for sure. Am I still going after corporations? Yeah, but like I've had so many people asking me about this stuff, so right now this is what I'm focusing on. But if there's any chili heads here, previous or present chili heads, Clara and I, the girl that also went viral for the Food Runner System video, she is starting a class action lawsuit. I need to make a video about this. So if anybody has any pay stubs of their like essentially going, or grat shares for going into the negative, because of tip share, or having to tip people out because of without them being on the clock, please let me know. We need evidence for the lawsuit. I need to make a video about that. I forgot. Oh my gosh, thank you. So many people have said that, like, I just feel like so connected to you, and I'm like, maybe that's because I've been here before. My guide said that I have been here before to help humanity or civilization with what it's going through, and I have worked with Pleiadians before. I don't know who's a Pleiadian, but fired from Red Robin. Ugh, Red Robin. I do love their unlimited fries. Oh my gosh. What about vivid dreams brought on by medication? I don't know. I mean, they said that the dreams are like alternate reality, so maybe, but I've never really been on like heavy medication, so I don't know. How do you find your spirit guide? You can do like a hypnosis if you want, like on YouTube there's like guided meditations and stuff. Yeah, well, people still think I'm crazy. I just don't care. Because I don't care. It's like people get really, okay, first of all, I posted that video about the flat earth theory, like I posted the flat earth theory video, and then after that I went even deeper into the rabbit hole of like what's like outside of the Atlantic wall, right? I posted that and I was like, oh my god, like let's go down this rabbit hole, like let's explore this theory, like not saying it's true, but like what if it is, who knows, right? Like having fun. The amount of men, like the amount of emotional men, my god, like can you guys like grow a pair or like grow a vagina, because like you guys get so fucking on your periods. Like men are so you guys don't know the amount of men that have messaged me on Instagram are like, you're fucking stupid, I'm like, okay, like, are you on your, I literally say, I think you're on your period. I'm gonna need you to like take a chill pill. It's so weird, like the way that men get so worked up over something. And like the women are like, you're amazing, I love you so much. You know why? Because we're shifting into feminine energy with the age of Aquarius. Men are literally down here with their low vibrations, stupidity. And they're like, I can't follow you anymore. I love when people tell me like, I'm so sorry, I had to unfollow. Do you think I give a fuck? Like, do you guys really, honestly, I love you guys, okay? But when people come in my comments and are like, I'm done, I'm not gonna follow you, I'm like, okay, you don't have to announce your departure because I didn't even know you existed. And people really think it makes a difference to me. I don't care. Like, I don't care. If I cared about people's opinion, I wouldn't be on this platform. I don't know how difficult that is to understand. And it's always the people who like don't do anything with their lives, don't put themselves out there and just sit on the sidelines watching other people do things, that love to criticize the people that are doing things. And it's like, you literally are a bump on a log. So like, shut the fuck up. Start your own page, do your own content, and then maybe people will watch you, and they probably won't because you seem like you suck as a person. So I hate when people come on my page and are like, oh my god, you're so dumb. I thought you were smarter than this. Unfollow. I'm like, okay, block. I don't give a shit. I think it's so weird how highly people view themselves. Like their ego is so high that they think that they have to announce their departure to every creator that they are unfollowing. It's like, do you guys think you're that important? You're not. You're gonna need to detach from the 3D ego. God. But then I have had other people come in and are like, Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, actually, you're really not as awake as you think you are. And these are women that are telling me this, okay? Like, guys are just like, you're fucking stupid. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. And then women will come and are like, yeah, you're actually not that awake. Just so you know, because like I'm more awake and you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, wow, yeah, I can tell that you're really awake with the condescending attitude that you're leaving this comment. Again, you're in your ego. You're not awake. Like, can you guys realize this? How many different ways do we have to say, like, we are nothing and everything at the same time? You have to detach. You have to have an ego death to open up your third eye. You have to have an ego death to wake up. You have to realize that the ego means nothing, and that the ego is what keeps you grounded to the 3D level of like the material things and the image and the money. It's like, it's disgusting. Who cares? Like, none of the shit matters. But like, you know what does matter is helping other people, being a kind person, bringing positivity into the world, doing what you can to help humanity. That's what matters. The material things do not matter. What you look like doesn't matter. What clothes you wear, what car you drive, what house you have, how much money you have in your bank account. Do you have a Roth IRA? Oh my God, what about your retirement? Who fucking cares? Ew. Who cares? Like, you guys are so involved in the fucking simulation. Who cares? Like, let's all come together as a collective and help each other. Like, let's be kind to each other. Let's tap into, which is part of the Age of Aquarius, is tapping into our creative side, our feminine side. It's going back to our inner child, our roots. Like, what do we really like doing? What did we really like doing as a child that we got told that doing that was never going to make us successful? If you were an artist, if you like to paint, if you like to draw, if you like to build things, if you like, you know, ceramics, or if you like to work outside, like, there's so many things that we are artistically capable of that got pushed down into the back burner because they said that's not going to make you any money. So go to school, work your ass off for a paycheck of nothing, of pennies. Like, we need to tap into the stuff that we are good at, that we are creatively, instinctively good at. Like, there was somebody that messaged me and was like, I was always like a basketball player, but all of a sudden I'm getting this calling to do music and I've never done music before. Like, what does that mean? I'm like, yeah, that means that's, you need to follow that. Follow what your gut is telling you. If your gut is telling you to follow music, maybe you're really good at playing an instrument or singing and you have no idea, and that will lead you to your purpose. Like, go back to your roots. Figure it out, because you have been so brainwashed through the simulation that you forgot who you really are. And if you guys could just go back and like just take a minute and be like, what did I do as a kid? What did I like as a kid? What did I want to always be? And not because they told me that that's what I had to do, but what did I like? Like, what was I really interested in? And what got, like, how did I get brainwashed? And then you go back to that. And like, I feel like that's how we can really, you know, heal our inner child. And that's how we can raise the collective consciousness. Because if we all are just happy and being true to ourselves and doing what we love to do and connecting with each other, like, we all have so many gifts and so many talents that we can share with each other. Like, if you like to make clothes, you can be a seamstress and you can help people. And, you know, as of right now, unfortunately, money is still needed in the society that we're living in. And so we can help each other by like buying each other's products. But eventually I hope that we get to a place where we don't need money to function, and because apparently in my civilization of Sirius, we don't run on money. We just help each other out. So if somebody needs help at a restaurant, we just go and work at this restaurant for a few days, and then until our energy has, like, you know, depleted, and then we're like, okay, I'm done, and then somebody else will come do it, because you all work as a community and nobody is like lazy. And that's another thing. Somebody had a comment, which I have I have a video coming. Somebody said, isn't that the point of being rich though? If everybody was equally wealthy, then nobody would be motivated to compete and everyone would be lazy. And I have a two-part answer to this, because one, I said you will never be rich. The fact that you think you will be rich is how much the brainwashing has done to you, because the rich people are a bloodline and you're not part of that bloodline, so you will never be rich. Second of all, why do you think that people would be unmotivated? Why do you think that people would be lazy? Is it because you would be unmotivated if it wasn't for money? Is it because you would be lazy if it wasn't for money? Like, think about that. That is projecting. Because as humans, we are all we all have the instinct to want to be productive. What happened during COVID? During COVID, none of us could go to work, but what did we do? We all found new hobbies that we liked doing. We all like started gardening or started an arts and craft, or we got into hobbies that we had forgotten about. So we did all these things and we found all these new passions. Yeah, because why? Because we instinctively want to be productive. When I had COVID for like a week, I was going stir crazy because I couldn't do anything and I wanted to do things. No, I would not be at home sitting on my ass and being lazy all the time. I don't know who would do that. Like, and if you would do that, then like you have to be just like a merely player in the game, because people want to instinctively be productive and do things and you should want to do things that make other people happy as well, because like to me, making other people happy makes me happy and brings me joy. That's what makes me happy, and helping others makes me happy. I love helping others, and well, I mean, I guess that makes sense because of apparently from my planet or civilization. And so that's what I said in the video. I'm like, listen, if you think that humanity would get lazy and not be productive and not want to grow because money isn't the motivator, I think you need to look in the mirror and realize how you view the world, because that means that you view money as the ultimate be all end all, and that is the ultimate goal. And that shouldn't be the ultimate goal. That just shows how brainwashed people are that use money as such a big motivator. And I understand that in the world that we live in right now, yes, that is what we have to do, but they created that for a reason. But what we can do is start doing things that we like doing and helping each other out as a community, instead of relying on these big corporations. Have you ever felt like a force is pushing you down or trying to force something out of you? You know, I don't know if you missed the beginning of this live. I said that people asked me if I was high because my eyes were red, and I said no, I just got up. I put myself in hypnosis, which was my first time doing it. I ended up listening to this guided hypnosis meditation thing, and it actually worked, which is so crazy. Like, I didn't think that it would, but one of once I was in hypnosis, he said to ask this question because I was like connecting with my higher self, and then it said, where am I in what point am I in my life right now, or something like that. And I felt these, like, all of these people, hands, beings, whatever, arms, push me down, like on my chest, just push me down, push me down, push me down. Like I was sinking into my bed. Like, it was insane. And I felt all these, I thought that my sister had come in my room and was like pushing at me or something, but I was under hypnosis. So I just felt all this pressure on my chest, like pushing me under, and all of a sudden they all just let go. And I like was able to like rise back up, and I was like, like I breathed again, and I was like, holy shit, like that was crazy. And so I think that was a representation of, yeah, where my life is right now. It's like where it was like just pushed down and silenced and pushed down for so long. And like now I'm able to come back up and like breathe and like not let people bring me down, kind of thing. So I know people think I'm crazy, but I don't care. I like being on this side. I think it's fun. And you know, it resonates with so many people. It's like when I started my Expose the Pepper series and I was helping so many people, people were like my parents and stuff, or people would be like, oh, I think you should stop, like they're gonna sue you. And I was like, I can't let these people down. Like, so many people are counting on me, and like I have helped so many people. Like, I don't care. I can't just let these people down. And I'm glad that I didn't, because I have helped a lot of people, and that's how I feel now with so many people like messaging me. I'm like, I can't just stop talking about it now. Like, I have helped so many people you know, like realize that they're not crazy. And that is part of my mission as well. Like, they said that they had to, you know, essentially wake me up so that I could help people wake up as well. And that my purpose is to make people question everything. They said, because I always had these questions before the hype of social media. That's what they said. They said, you always had these questions before the hype of social media. So now your job is to make people question it as well. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because they're like, some people's jobs is to have the answers, but your job is to make them question. And I'm like, oh, okay. Who's they? My spirit guides, which is, I guess my spirit guides, Yeah, I guess it wasn't my higher self. I guess it would be my spirit guides. But yeah, that's when I did my Akashic record reading. How did you find out you're from Sirius? During my Akashic records, because I asked, am I a starseed? And then they said, yes. I got my reading done, so they didn't personally tell me. They told the person that did my reading, and they said, yes, and you are from Sirius B, and you connect with Pleiadians because you have worked with Pleiadians before in the past to help civilization in the place they are right now. So apparently I've done this before. I think I was in Atlantis because I always had a connection to Atlantis. And then they said, oh, I'll talk about pets. Give me a second. And then they said that I was originally from the Andromeda galaxy, but my people migrated to Sirius B. And then I guess right now the most starseeds that there are on Earth are Sirians because we needed to, because of our planet and how it's ran with like all healing and helping each other out. That is what this planet needs right now. So that's why we're all here to like help the collective raise its consciousness before civilization gets wiped out again. And what's crazy about my reading is that like the reading was crazy because like I got it as an email and the words that they were using was like they used like so to speak, and I was like, that's weird because like the person that did my reading, I was like, I've never heard her say so to speak. So they said the phrase so to speak, and then they said, oh my dear. They kept saying my dear, and I was like, okay. And then they said about how I have worked with Pleiadians before, right? So I got that reading done. And the person that did my reading was like, what's Sirius starseeds? I don't know what that is. And like, they went into detail about that. So then I started doing more research on Sirius starseeds. And it's fucking crazy because it's literally like exactly how I am. Like they described me to the T. They said that like, we like having structure. We're organized. We like math and math was always my favorite subject growing up because I liked that there was always a right answer. We like everything was just like literally how I am. I'm like, this is literally me. That like, we won't reinvent the wheel, or we won't invent the wheel, but we can reinvent the wheel. So like, we will find something that's already invented, but we will make a better solution for it, which is crazy because that morning my sister had said, you're really good at fixing issues. Like, and I do like problem solving, and I always liked solving puzzles. So I think that's why I'm like good at putting all these pieces together. And they said, that they like to find something that has already been created but make it better. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so me. And then I watched another video on Sirius, and she was describing what Sirius is like, and then she said that over there, like I said, they work in like a whole community, very like helping each other, no money is involved. They said that there is like a food halls where people like to just just go and eat. They love to socialize. I'm like, me, I literally have worked in restaurants because I love socializing and I love being around food. And so they said they have these big food halls where people can just go and eat, and they don't have to pay, and then people just work there to help out, and and I'm like, yeah, literally me. And then they said that they're very into like the arts entertainment, which I am, and that they love shows like Dinner and a Show kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, I love Dinner and a Show. And then they said, oh yeah, and she goes, and they're like really big on the circus. They just love the circus, kind of like Cirque du Soleil. And that's when I like freaked the fuck out because I have always loved the circus. I've always have had like an infinite, like a freaking connection with the circus, and I don't know what it is. Like I loved Dumbo when I was little. Like circus is like, I loved going to the circus. I love Cirque du Soleil. Like I used to live in Orlando and I would go to watch Cirque du Soleil. And then when I was tripping on shrooms my first 2 times, I was with my boyfriend at the time, and I told him, all I keep seeing is the circus. I just keep seeing the circus. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I just keep seeing the circus. I see clowns. I see the circus. I just see the circus. And he's like, okay, weirdo. Okay. So now all of a sudden, they say, oh yeah, the Sirius, they love the circus. And I'm like, oh, okay. That makes sense why I love the circus. So then I was watching the interview of Lisa Royal channeling the Sirius ambassador, right? So then I'm watching her, and it's so funny because I had been like, I wish I could connect to my spirit guides. And then it's like, I feel like they're talking to me through signs and through different people. So I'm watching it, and I start noticing that while she's channeling him, she's saying the same phrases that they told me in my reading. So she's like, oh yes, so to speak, you know, if you get the metaphor, so to speak. And I was like, that's weird. And then she goes, oh my dear, yes my dear. And I'm like, what the fuck, that's literally what my reading said. What the fuck? And so then she goes, yes, so Syrians and Pleiadians have worked together before to help civilization and where we are right now. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is not a coincidence, because the person who did my reading like didn't know about this. And then literally like this is channeling the Sirius ambassador, and they're saying the same thing. That was really weird. And then the other thing they said, that the guy was like, oh, so I've done like an ayahuasca ceremony, which by the way, I'm doing ayahuasca for my birthday next month. And then he's like, oh, I did an ayahuasca ceremony, and I wanted to know, oh my God, Truther, if you want to come on, please come on, because I would love to talk to you about everything. Oh, I'm like obsessed with your videos. So he goes, when I was doing my ceremony, I saw a cave with serpents. Also, I wanted to know, does ayahuasca exist in other civilizations, or is that just a technology that we have here? And she said, first of all, the cave with the serpents, when you see the serpents, that is essentially a serious initiation, you know? And that means that like we're essentially waking you up. So here's the weird part. Before that happened, that morning, I had my friend messaging me who was also going through like the waking up process. And she was like, I had a dream with a snake with 7 heads. And I was like, what the fuck? Which is also in the book of Revelation. And then she's like, and I was like, oh, that's so weird. And then before that, every time I would see a comment, it was about snakes. Snake this, snake that, snake. I was like, why is everybody talking about snakes right now? What the fuck is happening? So when I'm watching this interview and she goes, oh, when you see snakes, it's because we're initiating. It's essentially the serious initiation of waking up. I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. What the fuck? So then she goes, also, every civilization, ayahuasca is indigenous to every civilization. They just call it something else. But we send the plant medicine when a civilization is stuck. And not saying that your civilization is stuck, but it is having a really hard time getting unstuck and letting go of the ego and integrating. So ayahuasca is sent there to help people essentially have their ego death and integrate, which is crazy because like I'm doing ayahuasca next month. So I was like, oh my God, like this makes total sense. So it's just so crazy that like everything is making sense and adding up. Let's see. Oh, I will definitely do a video when I do ayahuasca, which is so crazy because like I was only planning on doing that privately, but then all of a sudden, like, you know, my content switched. So now I'm going to be talking about that for sure. Oh yeah. And then she also said that, you can only do it in like a controlled environment with someone that knows what they're doing, and it is not meant to be done repeatedly. It is only meant to do, it is only meant to like help you level up. So like I started smoking weed like in 2017, which is apparently when I started like my shift in my planets, by the way. I think it was my Saturn return or Jupiter return. I can't remember. But I was just getting high. Like I wasn't, you know, really thinking deep or anything about anything. And then when I started, I ended up like developing asthma at the end of 2019 because I think I got COVID before COVID was a thing. So I ended up having to stop smoking. So then I started eating edibles in like, you know, 2020. And that's when my third eye started being open, because like I know people think that like weed doesn't do anything, but it does to me. To me, it makes me think. To me, it opens up my brain, my mind, my third eye. I like dissect everything. I break everything down. It makes me like think smarter, essentially. Like I just felt like I'm dumb without it, but then like all of a sudden I like took it and I was like, oh my God, like everything makes sense. So that's when I started having my awakening, was like when I was like having edibles and I was like, you know, putting all these pieces together. But then once I had my awakening, it's like the edibles just weren't getting me there anymore. It was like my body's super weird because I'm not from here. So I reached the high like once and then I can't reach it again. So I I like, you know, had my moments with my edibles, which like I moved to California, so they were very easy access. And I was having like edible ice cream. Oh my God. One time I had edible ice cream and it was like frozen solid. So I like melted it in the microwave and I like drank the whole thing. I was on another planet. I was done for. I was like, oh, never again. But now I just pretty much get like a body high or whatever. But after that, then I was like, okay, let me try shrooms. So then I did shrooms, and then as I said, I tripped twice that one time, which was like just hallucinating and seeing the circus. And then after that was when I had my astral projection, which I talked a little bit about on here, was my astral projection. So once I did my astral projection and saw everything, like I saw myself underwater as a mermaid, which is why I think I lived in Atlantis. And then I saw myself like out on a spaceship at some point. I saw myself coming onto Earth. Yeah, it was like all that. And then after that was when I saw all the like where all of the sexual assault happened, like at Disney. I saw the kids that went through all the pain. I started astral projecting through places and time. It started taking me to different locations where a lot of sexual assault had happened. I started seeing people I personally knew. And after the trip, I like contacted them and they confirmed what I saw. I saw Marilyn Monroe. My phone's, hold on, let me hook my phone up. Marilyn Monroe, Britney Murphy, Michael Jackson had all been killed. I saw, I think Anna Nicole Smith too. I saw her. I also saw that Britney Spears would be free and would be able to tell her story. Yeah, so I saw like a lot of shit during that trip. But it really helped me because I also like was talking about like people in my past that I like lost friendships with, and I like was able to get all that out and everything. But then after that, now that I do shrooms, nothing happens. So apparently it's only meant to like help you level up. So now that I'm going to do ayahuasca, I'll level up again, and then maybe I won't need it because I'm like really starting to connect to my 5D self. Oh, and so with the pets, they said that, she talked about the dogs. She said that our civilizations chose dogs, to remind us of what unconditional love is, because unconditional love is literally what can heal this planet. And so they said that we chose, dogs to be essentially like our, pet of choice, to show us what unconditional love is, and that they were sent here to like, be our companions and show us that. And a lot of Syrians were in dog form before, to show us what unconditional love is, but now we can walk side by side for each other. So like apparently like before, like, dogs were always leading on a leash, they were leading us, and like now, but essentially like, yeah, like the dogs were leading the humans, even though we thought we were leading them, they were leading us. And now we are going to be, now they can just walk side by side with us. And they don't have to be in the dog form anymore. That's the only animal she talked about, except for the serpent. She did talk about the serpent, and that the serpent is the, like the representation of the Sirius planet. But and it's not supposed to be anything bad. Because I guess there was a school of 9 serpents, which there was a lot in the Asian countries, which is why a lot of all this first started coming out over there, because they had their school of 9 serpents there. There was also schools in like South America, Central America, North America. There was like in Africa, there was like school of 9 serpents everywhere, which I need to look more into that. But the serpent isn't supposed to be like a bad image, but since we have free will, the powers that are like in charge right now, took the serpent and turned it into a bad energy, essentially. So in the Bible, when they decided to use the serpent as something bad, she said that was written in there a kind of as a reminder to people, are like, are you going to wake up and remember the truth, or are you going to fall back into a sleep cycle? So that's why. And then that's why the serpent is used so much in like the medical field and anything that has to do with like all of this like stuff that is keeping us asleep. They took the serpent and turned it into an evil entity so that we would stay away from those things, essentially. And there was no reason to demonize the serpent, because it essentially was like I guess it wasn't supposed to be anything bad. Although the reptilians are like serpent like beings. So okay, let's see what else. I opened mine accidentally. Oh my gosh, I've had something in my eye like all day. I would love to meet you in person. Oh, somebody asked me, well, before I even like blew up, they were like, do you do any meet and greets? I'm like, I don't think anybody would show up. How do you get over the fear of spirituality when you were raised Catholic? Well, what are you scared of? Because religion and spirituality are two different things. Religion keeps you in a box and is very limited. It limits you and it limits your connection to God, where I feel like spirituality, you can really connect to God. And you don't have to be religious to have a relationship with God. Like, having a relationship with God is so different than being religious. A lot of religious people don't have a connection to God because they're so wrapped up in the religion and they're so wrapped up in the rules that they forget that like there's more out there than just this rule book that they're following. Oh, what about the cats? Because Egyptians believe in cats about energy. Yeah, she didn't talk about that, but she did say that the Egyptians and Atlantis, the Stonehenge, and the crystal skulls were all left here as evidence that we've been here before, so that we could remember to wake up again, because we keep like falling asleep every time. Oh my God. I know I had to work yesterday and I was like, well, sure is 10% Sunday. I haven't had 10% Sunday in a minute because I'm in San Diego and people don't really like go to church here. I can't see well enough to drive. Religion is so weird. Not saying you can. Yeah. Oh yeah. Marilyn is all over my wall. There she is on my calendar. She's literally everywhere. What a queen. I've always had a connection with Marilyn, and I've always had a connection with the 50s, but especially Marilyn. So I asked about that in my reading, and they said that I had a past life in the 50s, but they don't know if it was an imprinted life or if I really did live it. But I've always been obsessed with the 50s. My username used to be The Rockin' 50s, and my room growing up, kind of like when I got in high school, I changed the floor to all checkered print. I made it into a diner. So I had like a counter up on the wall, and I had the a diner's table with the bar stools. I had, if you guys know what Steak and Shake is, it's like a diner. So I had a Steak and Shake menu because they had thrown it out by the dumpster and I grabbed it. The Steak and Shake menu had everything was decorated with like 50s style, like Coca-Cola stuff. It was so cool. So I've always been obsessed with the 50s. I love anything 50s style. I love the fashion. I love like the appliances from the 50s, which is crazy because apparently in the 50s was when like the UFO sightings first started. So I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Do you ever read the CIA documents? I have not read this. Yeah. What's the imprinted life? So they say, yeah, so they said I have a past life in the 50s, but they don't know if they couldn't tell me if I lived it or if it was an imprint. So an imprint is like your soul, like they say that you can come into a life, your soul can come into a life, but have imprints of other people's memories from other past lives. So essentially it's like, maybe you didn't physically live it, but or your soul didn't physically live that past life, but they will put an imprint of other people's memories into your brain or your soul, so that you can use that to get through this cycle. So they said that in my life in the 50s, I wasn't able to speak up. So I wonder if that's why I have a connection to Marilyn, because I know she wasn't really able to speak up. And they say that in my past life in the 50s, I wasn't able to speak up and I was silenced a lot. So I needed to have that imprinted into me so that in this life I could learn how to speak up, because I didn't speak up in my last life in the 50s. And again, I was still trying to be silenced, in my life, but I refused to be silenced. So my mom, literally, my parents hated anything I would post on Facebook. They'd be like, can you not post that? I'm like, get off my Facebook. Or you don't have to tell people that. Can you just not talk about that? I'm like, no, I love talking. I don't give a shit because I'm like not ever embarrassed about myself or anything. And like people get more embarrassed for me than I get embarrassed for myself. And I'm like, why do you care? Like I don't get embarrassed for myself, but you get embarrassed. Like that's embarrassing for you that you care that much. Like that you put yourself in my shoes like that much that you're embarrassed for me. It's like, okay, it's one thing to be an empath, but it's also like, why do you care what I'm doing when I'm like not hurting anybody? Oh my god, my views are at 323. Let's see. Anna Nicole Smith. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Anna Nicole Smith. I don't know what happened with her, but I saw her in my vision, and I'm like, was she murdered? I wonder if she was, because I saw her in my vision. Also, if you guys haven't watched JK Ultra's Britney Murphy playlist, oh my god, go watch it. Her playlist is so good. And she talks about how they killed her because she was also going to come out with evidence against like the government or something like that. Do I have a theory about dreaming? Yeah, I actually did talk about that. I asked about dreams for my, it may not be exactly what happened in the dream, but it's what they chose to let you remember. Did you have any dreams about this year? I haven't had any dreams about this year. I've had dreams about the future. Oh, I finally got this eyelash out. I did see the new Earth. I've seen the new Earth twice. Once I saw it from like essentially outer space. Like I saw the moon and the Earth next to each other, and the Earth was really shiny and glittery, and it was very green and blue. And I was like, oh my god, look, the Earth looks so pretty from here. And then another one, I saw the Earth. I saw the new Earth essentially was like an asteroid hit us, and then it wasn't as bad as everyone thought it was going to be. And I was like, it's fine, guys. It's not that bad. And I was walking like with my parents and my sister, and people started turning into like their original forms. Like I saw somebody turn into a pig. And so that was kind of weird. But then like people were freaking out. But then the people that were going into like the new Earth weren't freaking out. And then we were just like walking into like the new Earth. So that's the two dreams that I've had so far about what's coming up. Okay, let's see. Hold on. I swear I've been in your life and asked a question, and during your answer is the only time I cut. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. You know, my ex used to get high and he wouldn't dream either. So I wonder if that has something to do with it, because once he stopped smoking, he started dreaming again. So maybe you should stop smoking before bed. I'm coming from an Adventist family from Romania. Parents come from communist trauma. Oh, peace to you, girl. Let's see. Oh. Have you heard about people astral projecting to Area 51? No, I haven't. And also, I don't really know what exactly is at Area 51. I do know that there's like underground tunnels, so I wonder if Area 51 leads to those underground tunnels, because apparently, like, you know, the elites or whatever we want to call them have underground access to these underground tunnels. So I wonder. Where can I watch the Britney Murphy videos? There on JK Ultra's page. I think she does have a Britney Murphy playlist. I think she has a John Bonet playlist, which is also really good, but she ended up having to stop midway through because they kept like taking her videos down and she kept getting banned. But the Britney Murphy playlist is really... You have an Area 51 in Australia? That's crazy. Oh, what about birthmarks? So Chelsea Ochel, yeah, if you guys haven't watched her, she said she was talking about birthmarks, and she said she got her past life regression, and she was like, oh, you know, they say that birthmarks is how you died, and she has 2 birthmarks like right on her neck, and apparently she talked about how she died and that like the marks were right there. So I only have a birthmark like on my hip, so... And it's like really tiny, so I don't know if I could have died from my hip. But I do have, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, because I have really bad lower back pain my entire life. And when I get high, it intensifies my back pain, which is like, my body reacts the opposite to a normal human. So when I get high, I'm not hungry. Whereas people get the munchies, I don't eat. And then my back hurts really bad. So I wonder if something did happen with my hip when I was in another past life, because my back hurts really bad. Well, apparently I'm an old soul because I've been here before. Do you have any theories about the guy who was killed? Oh my god, I want to make a video about that. That cars could run off water. Yeah, they killed him. That's the truth. He realized or was able to make a car that runs on water, and so I think I saved the video so I can make a video about it. He discovered that our cars can run on water, and they made like a news report about him and everything, and then he was like, it was ready to be launched and everything, and all of a sudden he took a sip of his drink and died. And he said, he told his brother before he died, he's like, they poisoned me, and then he died. So anytime somebody comes out with like anything beneficial to humanity, they kill them. Like there's people that have come out with a cure for cancer and stuff, they kill them. Anything with holistic medicine, pretty much, they kill them. So yeah, they pretty much kill anybody that's trying to save the planet because they don't want it to come out. Oh, I'm sorry. Anytime you watch my videos, you can't sleep. I don't think they're that bad. They're not like scary. What if you don't have a birthmark? Well, maybe you didn't die in a past life by like a tragic accident. Oh, Project Blue Book. What is that on? They all want money. Yeah. And it's honestly, it's not really about money. It's about power. They like the power because money is not real. So they just keep printing fake money, but they want the power. They want to know that people are their slaves. So what's happening right now is that they want to make everybody their slaves because they want to be able to run the planet, essentially, the civilization. And because they're so, okay. If you guys haven't looked up, which I'm sure you haven't, he has like 300 subscribers on YouTube, Sam the Illusionist. He also had his awakening in 2020, and he's been able to channel other beings. And he recently just posted a video about, not to fearmonger, but about something happening from April 18th to April 27th. I think that something big was supposed to be happening in the United States or something, and to not fall for it. So like if they're trying to fearmonger us with anything, to like not fall for it. And apparently that there could be the nuclear war with China and Russia if we don't stop it. But like I think by stopping it is by spreading the word of like, do not fall into the fear. So they said that there will be beings, entities from Mars that are like, you know, from the Orion and the reptilians that are going to be taking over the human bodies that are like in office, like maybe the president, even though he already is pretty much, he's like not real. And that they're gonna be like trying to do something. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Just keep an eye out. Like if they try to fearmonger us with anything, like they do every time, to like not fall for it, we need to like raise the vibrations and essentially raise the collective consciousness, because they're trying to do anything and everything to like wipe out civilization. So apparently, oh, I don't know if you guys have heard, there's like this thing called the looking glass that, oh my god, I just watched the video on it, but it's a lot of information. So apparently the looking glass in the 1980s, I want to say, there were beings that took over from like the Pleiadians, who are good guys, took over the bodies of people in the military and were able to discover where the looking glass was. And the looking glass is essentially is like, let's say a crystal ball that tells the future, right? They found this looking glass, and they somehow were able to like, that's how they were able to expose information of what the military is doing. So they took over their bodies and put this information into the looking glass. It's like so crazy, but they put the information into the looking glass, and then I think I just watched it earlier. I'm trying to remember everything, but look up Sam the Illusionist because he has like a really good video on it. It's like his latest video on YouTube. I think I watched his last 2 videos, but this has been something that like then our elites, you know, they know about all this, and so they have hidden this information. And I guess some stuff also got discovered in Iraq, as well while we were over there, and they like hid all that stuff too. So like they have all this information, but anyways, apparently in the Looking Glass it only goes up to 2030, and there's two timelines that we could possibly take for 2030. We can either go the path of destruction, where we have the nuclear war with China and Russia, and civilization gets wiped out, or we all wake up and realize that this is all a simulation, and we stop them from doing that. And I don't know exactly like what action we can take, but I think just talking about it, we can all come together as a collective to like raise the vibrations and figure it out. And then we shift into the new earth. So there's two right now. We're like at a dire spot in our civilization, which is why so many people woke up in 2020. We have the free will to do what we want with our awakening process. So that's why they're like, hey, we've taken over your bodies to try to help you, but you also like, you have the free will to do what you want with it. So like, we don't have to raise the collective consciousness if we want to stay asleep. But now that like a lot of us are waking up and talking about it, that's why they did it. It's like, okay, you guys have free will, but like, are you going to raise the collective consciousness? Are you guys going to raise to the 4D and 5D? Or are you guys going to stay asleep? Because like, we can't make you do it, but we want to give you the information so you guys know what to do. Because as of right now, the higher beings, the people that are running this, the beings that are running this, are higher dimensionals than us. So they're like in the 4D and above. And so they know so much more than we do. So they want to keep us asleep. But then if we can raise our consciousness and our vibrations, then we can try to beat them too. And yeah, they're definitely losing their grip. I think that because we have been in a disintegration process for the last 13,000 years, we have forgotten anything. Oh yeah, that's why they ban mushrooms 100%. Even though now they're using it, they're saying it's like for mental health. But yeah, it's to open up your third eye and pineal gland for sure. They literally made everything illegal that was supposed to help us, but then made alcohol legal, which causes like so many deaths. And alcohol is not good, very gross, and makes you do stupid things. And the pharmaceuticals, pills, like really, we literally have like so much natural medicine we could use, and yet here we are like popping pills and drinking alcohol. That's what they made that's what they made legal. But then they literally like don't let us have anything from nature. They don't even want us collecting rainwater. Like they don't want us doing anything that is natural. They don't want us doing holistic medicine. They call that witchcraft or craziness. And it's like it's literally our planet. We made it in our planet for a reason. Like we made it so that we could heal ourselves with it. And then fucking the Rockefellers and Rothschilds came from their fucking reptilian blue bloodline and said, oh, how can we control the masses? Yeah, I'm gonna give you all this money that's literally made up, and I'm gonna make you drug everyone and put everyone asleep with this medication, and then anybody that was awake would be called a schizophrenic or psychosis episodes. And it's like, maybe they're just awake and you're just labeling it. Let's think of what, remember earlier when I said how words have so much meaning here in the United States? The word therapist, I always thought it was weird because it's literally like the rapist. The rapist of your mind, of your brain. Like, think about words. If you start breaking words down, it's so obvious what they did with the English language. The English language is fucked up. Was it Christ talking about schizophrenic? No. The Rockefeller Center symbols are like crazy. They don't even hide it. Oh, I know. They really just like fucked over our school system, our medical system. They fucked everything over. I watched this documentary on like the transportation industry and how that got turned around too. Like that was all run by General Motors. Before we had cars, we had public transportation, which were like the trolleys that were like electric trolleys that were like, it was like the 1930s, and it was like hooked up. I think it was before the 1930s, because I think they started changing from the trolleys in like 1920s to 1930s. So it only took 10 years for for public transportation to be changed into like the car industry. So first they had these public trolleys that everybody would get on, and it was like super simple. That's what ran the whole like in the United States, right? That's what ran everything, right? I don't know if maybe more than the United States, but at least the United States. And then General Motors started thinking like, well, like how can we make more money? Money. How can we make more money? Okay, why don't we take out the trolleys because they're taking out most of the room on the streets, and let's do public buses. So then they switched over to public buses, which was like, okay, buses, sure, but like they weren't running off the electrical line so they had to use the gas. So that changed from going through the electrical line to using gas. Then, they also they connected the buses to the Greyhound station and something else with public transportation, so nobody knew that, but because they needed a face for the public transportation. But that was all ran by General Motors. General Motors was at top here, and it was like trickling down for all of the public transportation. Once they switched everybody over to buses, then little by little they started integrating the cars, and that was more in like the 50s. Or when was it that everybody came back from the war? When everybody came back from the war was when they started, advertising. Oh my God, this dog's so cute. They started advertising, cars. And then I think it was around the 50s, and then they had the commercials of the cars. And then they started, showing everyone like with the Jetsons and all the stuff. They started doing, commercials of, you can just fly home, because they made it as the future that we would have flying cars, right? So then they started selling the car industry more and more, so then everybody got cars, which didn't make sense, because it's like, well, you're just adding more cars to the roads instead of having public transportation where you could have one big bus with a bunch of people on it. You had one car per person, which created traffic. But then what happened? The highway and construction industry got involved. The General Motors and all the car industry started paying the highway industries, and are like, hey, we want you to build more highways. We want you to build more highways, which is why a lot of these places don't have great transportation as far as like the highways. Like they're all fucking mess. Am I glitching again, you guys? I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. They don't like me. So then they started building more highways. And even though the people protested and said, we don't want more highways, we don't want more cars, we want public transportation back, they said, we don't give a fuck about you, we care about money. So guess what? We're going to build more highways, more roads. We're going to destroy the planet even more. And that's another thing. I remember when I was a kid and I would watch trees get taken down, and there would be planes with like cows and goats on it, and all of a sudden they'd be trampled over for fucking buildings. And I'm like, why are we destroying the planet so much? Like, why do we need this many buildings? Where are these cows going? Where are these goats going? Why are they tearing down these trees? It's crazy. Like, that's all I would think about as a child. And they literally, the series stuff, oh my God, you guys don't even know how many screenshots I have gotten about people asking Siri stuff. Like, my gallery is full of screenshots from you guys telling me about Siri and Google and everything. It's all fucked up. Yeah, so that's how the whole car industry got changed. And it's really evil. It's so evil. Like, they literally just got us into this whole fucking mess for money, and they just don't give a shit about us. So everything is so bad. And also I went to like this, I went to the chocolate factory in Florida, and I got to try chocolate from all over the world, and it all tastes different than ours, because ours is literally pure sugar. So all the other countries need at least 2% cacao in their chocolate, because they have regulations on it, and ours does not. So if your dog were to eat just like milk chocolate, it'll be fine, because it's not real chocolate. And it's crazy, because all these other countries just have so many regulations on their food. My sister just went to Canada, and she took a Celsius with her, and they were like asking her like, what's that? And she's like, oh, it's a Celsius. And they don't have that there because the caffeine levels are too high for Canada's regulation. So, and everything there is like less sugar, less caffeine, less everything. And I'm like, dude, we literally live like in the most evil country in the world. Like, the United States, it's so fucking evil. And it's like, and it's the cause of so many wars, so much destruction. It's a horrible country. And like, I always knew this too, when people wanted to be like, oh, well then leave. And I'm like, why don't you want to make the place better? You guys are so fucking dumb. Yeah, foreigner here, and I can attest to that. Yeah, like, anytime I'm a server, and anytime I have tables that are foreigners, they're like, these portions are like 3 times the size of ours. I'm like, I know, that's why we're all fat here. We're not only fat because of the portions they give us, we're also fat because they don't let us eat healthy here. They put so much preservatives. They put MSG in everything. They put sugar in everything, loaded in salt in everything, because everything is just poison to us. So that's why I try not to get down on myself about my weight, because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Even eating organic is like eating, like, it's so expensive, and still they have like pesticides and shit in our organic food. It's not really organic. Like, our food is like covered in wax. So it's like everything is so bad for us, and then they want to make fun of us for like being fat, and like, get a gym membership, eat healthy. Why don't you get a nutritionist, get a dietitian? And it's like, if you could just let us like fucking, eat healthy like every other fucking country does, maybe we wouldn't need that. Like, how many people on here talk about how they went to Italy and lost weight eating all of the pasta and bread and pastries? Because and like, gluten-free doesn't exist over there. I have to eat gluten-free here because the food makes me so sick here. And I just want to go to Italy so bad because I want to be able to eat everything without a care in the world. Because over there, it doesn't affect you like here. Like, everything is so bad here. They literally want to kill us, which like also doesn't make sense to me, because I'm like, don't you want us to be your slaves? Like, what's their concept is so contradictory to me. I'm like, you want us to be your slaves, but then you want to kill us at the same time. So like, which one is it? I mean, right now they're trying to just kill us all of us off because we are seeing the truth. But I don't understand why they, like, our whole lives, they just wanted to kill us so bad. Like, we're just human experiments. They're like, let's see how much more we can kill them. But then the population control thing, like, I mean, I said that with COVID too, but I also like don't get it, because they also want to ban abortions. Like, they ban abortions in Kentucky, which my theory on banning abortions and getting rid of birth control is because they want more children for them to traffic and to be little slaves to society. So like, I don't know what the population control, I guess, like, if we're doing population control for the older generation, that makes sense, because like, that's what I feel what COVID was about. Like, the older people ended up dying because I feel like those people were getting government help, and they weren't contributing to society anymore because they were retired. So I feel like that's why COVID got rid of more of the older people. But I just don't understand, like, what is with the everyday of killing us slowly thing, when I guess maybe because like this stuff won't hit us until we're older. So it's like, oh, let's just kill them slowly, and then by the time they're old enough to retire, they'll die, and then we won't need them anymore. We want them to be productive while they're young. You know what I'm saying? So like, maybe that's why, because like, the younger we are, the healthier we are. So they want us to like keep working, and then while we're killing us slowly with the big pharma and the food industry and everything that's going on, and then by the time we get old, we have all these issues. We have, health issues, heart issues, weight issues, every kind of blood pressure issue, everything. And then we have to rely on medications, and then we're constantly going to the doctor, and that helps the pharmaceutical companies, and that helps the insurance companies, which fuck insurance companies, another fucking scam. Ugh, I hate fucking insurance companies. They are such predators. It's such a predatory industry. And it's such a scam too. So it's like, everything leads back to money. Like, the fact that the IRS, like, first of all, the IRS is owned by, the Federal Reserve, and it's just owned by banks. It's not owned by the government, and it's actually not illegal to not pay your taxes, but yet they'll arrest you for not paying your taxes. Like, it just doesn't make sense. They just make up the rules as they go. They literally just make up the rules as they go. Credit scores weren't invented until the late 1980s. They weren't invented until the late 1980s. And then we're over here stressing about credit scores. I'm like, you just made it up like a few years ago. The fuck are you talking about? And then like, with the housing costs going up and the cost of college going up, and it's like, you guys just literally make this up as you go. You guys are like, you know what? I graduated college. Let me bump it up to $500,000 while I only had to pay $5,000. Like, what is wrong with you people? Like, these people all have to be sociopaths. So it just, nothing makes sense. Okay, MK Ultra is, okay, I haven't looked into 100% MK Ultra, but like, obviously I know what it is. But does that also have to do with the cloning process? If you guys haven't heard of Tom McDonald, he's like a rapper. You guys need to listen to his stuff. He tells the truth and everything, and he talks about the cloning process, or a lot of people have talked about the cloning process. But I will say that you can't hear me. Can you hear me? It's because my fucking alarm keeps going off. Okay, hold on. Hello? How is it now? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, a lot of people have tried to talk about the cloning process too. And if you guys haven't checked out Truther777, I think I talked about him in my video today. Go check him out. He talks a lot about the MK Ultra process. I need to watch his stuff. But I will say that a few years ago, after Britney Spears went into her conservatorship, I don't know if this was a dream or if this was real life, but I swear it was real life. And I remember being on YouTube and watching a video about a fan-made documentary about Britney Spears, and that she had said that they were drugging her, and that they kept poking things into her, and that they were essentially like drugging her and poking her and like doing whatever they wanted with her. And I had been telling people about this for so long. I remember even in 2020 making a video and commenting about it. Or I didn't make a video, but I commented about it, and people were like, you're crazy. That's not true. I'm like, I literally saw this video on YouTube. I swear to God, I saw it. I could never find it again. I saw this, and I think it was about the MK Ultra. And they said that Britney Spears had said that people were poking her, and that they were drugging her, and that they were doing all these things to her. And I was like, I would tell people about this. I'm like, you guys, like, I know they're doing shit to Britney. I just know it. I was like, and the whole time she was in a conservatorship, I would like pray. I was like, I just want Britney to be free. I just want her to tell her story. And now she's free, and guess what? She's telling exactly what I was telling people. I fucking was telling people. They're doing shit to her. She said that they would take like all this blood from her. Why are they taking all this blood from her? What are they, drinking it? These fucking energy vampires, or these fucking vampires? Why do they need all this blood from her? She said she would have to give blood so much blood. And that they would like stab her with all these needles, do all these things. And I'm like, dude. Oh, and by the way, the cloning thing. Do you guys think that Britney Spears is a clone? Because I kind of feel like the real Britney was killed off in like right when her conservatorship happened, and then they brought in the clone, and then that's why she was just like under this whole conservatorship for so long. And then maybe the clone woke up. Like maybe the clone realized what is happening, because okay, so I don't think that Britney looks the same. Her teeth are different. Her eyes are a different color. I have pictures in my phone where I was comparing her teeth and her eyes, because I did a video, and it's in my simulation playlist, about Ricky Martin and his clone, and people were like, no, he's just a stand-in. I'm like, okay, sounds like a clone. Okay, so I also wanted to cover Britney Spears, and people were like, don't cover Britney Spears, like her fandom will come for you. But I'm part of her fandom. I was there when she got released from her conservatorship. I went to LA. I was at the court hearing when she got released, and I think I have those on Friends Only, those videos. But I was there. I was at the Free Britney party. Like, I love Britney. I've been waiting for this day for so long. But I also think that it's her clone, because I believe that Britney, like Britney, there's certain kids that are literally created to be like pop stars and to be in Hollywood. I think her parents were like signed a contract to like have her and put her in the industry, because she's been in it since she was little, and they like don't give a shit about her. Like her parents don't give a shit about her. Her dad doesn't give a shit about her. Her sister, like nobody in her family gives a shit about her. Yeah, the Britney Spears, if you guys haven't watched the Black Mirror episode with Miley Cyrus, it's literally about Britney Spears. And I'm like, I swear that that Britney is a clone, because her teeth aren't the same. It just doesn't, her teeth, her eyes aren't the same color. And I think that maybe her clone just like woke up. Like, I think they killed Britney when she went into her conservatorship, and then they brought the clone out. Because, and then people are like, no, you can't have a clone unless they make it when you're little. But I'm like, no, literally Tom McDonald like talked about the cloning process. And it's like, listen, we have to remember that like we are beings from other planets with higher technology. And so they can just like get this stuff and bring it here. No, her family does not. Oh, did she? Dude, Tila Tequila, though, she also went on, like, a whole weird rampage. Oh, something's up with Biden. Oh, Biden is 100% a clone. Biden is not real at all. Have you guys looked at Biden? Like, Biden has no life behind his eyes. And also, his ears are, like, not the same shape. His face is not the same at all. And, like, listen, I don't side with either political party. But, that's not a person. And also I have the video of Biden's like telling Obama, being like, oh, welcome back into the office, and then as if he's president again. And then the interview of Obama being like, yeah, what I would really like is to have somebody be the president, but like I'll be in the background running everything. And I'm like, why would you admit that on TV? Also, did you guys know that Obama is also linked to the Bush administration? Like he, I think I saved that video too. I need to make a video about that. Obama's, I think his uncle is, or he's related to George W. Bush in some way. Like their family is all related. Like Obama is part of the bloodline of the presidency bloodline. So that's how he got president. Yeah, he's part of the bloodline. That's why, yeah, they're like, oh, fourth cousin. Yeah, and that's why Michelle Obama was like super friendly with George Bush. And that's also why George Bush was the beginning of the end with the 9/11. Oh, somebody else said that Obama was Osama bin Laden's clone. I think Truther77 said that. Let's see what else. Oh, somebody asked about reptilians. I just posted a video, 2 videos about reptilians if you guys want to watch it. Oh, the Queen. I heard about the Queen too. I think the Queen is also related to that, right? What's the overall purpose of political parties? It is to separate us. It is to create divide, just like religion. Because if we all fight each other about political views, we will never focus on the real issue, which is them. So they created the 2 political parties, which we were never supposed to have 2 political parties. Did you see the video where Barbara Bush is a man? No. Oh my God, but JFK, did you guys watch the video about JFK that he was supposedly gay? Took a pic of the Queen on the news. Oh my God, yeah, send it to me. Yeah, the Queen is part of the family. Yeah, don't you think that's why they killed Princess Diana? Dude, I remember when Princess Diana died, and Princess Diana was out here like exposing everyone left and right, and they fucking killed her off real quick. Yeah, I'll check my messages. I get a ton of messages, so it takes me a few days to reply back to people sometimes. No, I didn't hear the announcement about the New World Order. Michael Jackson was murdered. Because he also, I think, was coming forward with information as well. And so his doctor killed him. They're trying to force us to, I love Diana, even though I was born after she died. Oh yeah, I made a video. I was like, if anything happens to me, you guys know that I didn't do anything. What's a conspiracy theory you don't believe in? I'm still looking into the birds aren't real theory. I love that theory. And honestly, if like we're in a simulation, I'm sure there are a lot of birds that aren't real. I don't know what are other, I don't know all the conspiracy theories. Biden stutters and is zoning out. Oh, and he's also been glitching a lot on TV, which they say like if you're not real, you would glitch. Mandela effects, I think, started in 2012 with the CERN Hadron Collider theory. So CERN has this like huge I don't know, this huge like machine. It looks like a huge technology gun thing, and I don't know, it's really complicated. It's all about science, and somehow when they turned it on, it like shifted the realities. And I watched a video on it and I tried to understand, but it's so much like scientific words that I didn't get. So if anybody can explain the Hadron Collider theory on the Mandela effect and like why it caused the Mandela effect, that'd be great. But the Mandela effect is 100% real, which is how we know we live in a simulation. Because remember when we were talking about when the Mandela effect stuff was going around, and we talked about Trix, the cereal, and it was like, oh, wasn't Trix used to be like fruit, and then now it's just like the little round balls? It's not fruit anymore. And people used to be like, yeah, maybe it's because Trix are for kids, and now that we're older, we don't see the fruit anymore. Okay, well, I've started buying Trix recently and it's back to fruit. So just saying. JK Ultra, oh yeah, I think I've watched all her videos. It's Kit Kat, not Kit. No, there was definitely a dash in there for sure. I don't know. I can't think of any conspiracies that I don't buy. So like, if you guys want to tell me any conspiracies, I'll let you know. Elon Musk, what about him? He's definitely not from here. He's a fucking piece of shit. And people want to be like, oh no, he's for the people. No, he's not. He's trying to buy out Twitter, but then he's blocking anyone that speaks out against him. It's not freedom of speech. Also, he sued an ex-employee of his for being a whistleblower because he had, like, when he was working at Tesla or whatever, and there was batteries next to something that could cause a fire and was a fire hazard, and he reported it, and then he was like, went public about it. And so Elon Musk sued him for like millions of dollars, and the guy was like, you literally know how much I make, like I can't afford this. And so he like drove him to bankruptcy pretty much. And Elon Musk doesn't give a shit about us. He literally just wants us to buy his products, and we're fucking idiots. And he has also said that yes, we live in a fucking parallel a virtual reality, and you guys still don't want to believe it. Mac Miller. I watched a video recently that Mac Miller is Angus from Euphoria. So they say that they take like the souls of those people and then like put them into other celebrities, and they're just playing different roles, because we are like, all the world's a stage. That is part of what my guides told me. That is part of what I've been seeing on the interviews with the extra dimensionals. They say all the world's a stage. Just remember that you're just playing different characters. So they say that when they kill off one character like Tupac or whatever, then they took his soul and put it into another character. And Tupac was trying to expose the truth, and that's why they offed him too. They off anybody that tries to that starts exposing shit. Oh, I did see that. The guy creating the portal out of the bedroom, but I think that's fake. To me, that didn't seem real. Thoughts on the vaccine. I posted a video about the vaccine. So I posted a comment where somebody said, the difference between conspiracy theory and the truth is 3 to 4 months. And I wrote, yeah, let's not talk about the Pfizer documents that just got released. They took my comment down and for community guidelines. And I appealed it, and it got put back up. Then I made a video showing the Pfizer documents, which I was only just showing another video that somebody else made about the Pfizer documents, saying that it didn't matter whether you had the vaccine or not. It wasn't going to help you either way. Like, it didn't matter if you got the vaccine, which I always thought from the beginning, because I was like, I'm seeing people get the vaccine and then they get sick worse than people who got COVID. So I'm confused as to like how the vaccine is supposed to help you. It doesn't. So the Pfizer documents confirmed that it didn't matter if you got the vaccine or not. It wasn't going to make a difference. They took that video down for violating community guidelines with no explanation as to why. I appealed it, and it just got put up. I don't know what's in the vaccine. There's rumors going around about it being linked to HIV and AIDS, because Fauci is also involved with the HIV and AIDS, and his wife also works for the FDA, and that's why things get approved. I don't know about that. I did have somebody message me that is on PrEP, which is for AIDS, and he said that people who were on PrEP and didn't get the vaccine didn't get COVID because they had a layer of of protection, because they were immune compromised, but because they were on PrEP, it like helped cure them from COVID. But then COVID is supposedly curable and treatable, but then AIDS isn't. So I don't know. This is the new hypothesis that is out right now about that. I have no idea. I don't know anything about the country of Basque. They use the spike protein from HIV. Oh my gosh, everything is going so fast I can't read. Oh, rattlesnakes from Venom. That's another thing, and that people are telling me to watch what's in the waters. So I need to watch that documentary. They use the spike protein from HIV to make the vaccine. It reminds me of red versus blue vaccinated. Exactly. That was another distraction that they did. That's why I never talked about whether, I don't care if people got the vaccine or not. It really doesn't matter. Like, get the vaccine or don't get the vaccine, but just don't let them tell you what to do. Do it for yourself. You want to, my sister got the vaccine. You want to get the vaccine. But don't let other people, you know, I didn't ever discuss it with anyone because I'm like, people get way too, it's like politics and religion. Like, why do you care what I'm doing with my body? It's not that serious. I got COVID and guess what? I was fine. So who cares? Oh, you know what else I want to talk about is Astroworld. Astroworld was a sacrifice. The egg theory. Wait, what's the egg theory? I don't know what my blood type is, and people have asked me about that. Opinion on the movie, don't look up. I made a video about that. It's literally just what we're going through right now, because again, all the world's a stage. They're putting everything in front of us, and we're like not paying attention. Still unimpressed. The algorithm picked 4 a.m. to cross your TikToks. That's funny. Okay. Oh my gosh, everything's going so fast. Okay. Astroworld was a sacrifice. I talked about Astroworld being a sacrifice and people came for me, so I ended up having to put the video on friends only, but I was only repeating what people that were there said. People that were at Astroworld literally said this was a sacrifice. Everyone that was there was freaked the fuck out. Nobody came out of, very few people, which are probably soulless shells of a human, came out of Astroworld and were like, yeah, it was fine. No. Everyone that was there, and I was like on the Astroworld side of TikTok. I was on Instagram watching their Instagram lives. I was following these people that were at Astroworld, and they were like shooketh. They were like, there was one guy that went viral for it. He was like, that was some demonic shit. That was some fucking sacrifice. The energy shifted. They had the portals. You guys know they had the portals. See you on the other side. He said that when he was there and he was like near the VIP section, and that the minute that Travis got on stage, like everyone just like fucking bombarded, and like nobody, he ended up sitting up on a railing to like keep space, and he was like so happy that he didn't go up there, because the way that like everyone just like, it was like in a trance, everyone just moved up, and all of a sudden he said that people just started like legit, he was like, I saw people falling into holes. Like it was like the gates of hell opened up in front of me. I'm not fucking kidding. The gates opened up, people started falling in, people were like reaching out, and I just saw so many like dead bodies, and it was like insane. He was like traumatized, and he said that before he went to Astroworld, he like loved Travis because he was in the music industry, or wanted to be in the music industry, and he was like, you know, trying to be like Travis, and he said that he had lost his way with his like connection to God, where he had it before he didn't, and after Astroworld he was like, fuck that shit, the devil is real, absolutely not doing this, and he completely did a whole 180, and I think that was his awakening. And he started going on Instagram Live. They started banning him on Instagram for talking about the stuff he was talking about. They would cut out his sound. Anytime he would go on there and started like praying about it, they would cut off his sound, because there was another girl that lost her cousin at Astroworld, so she was talking a lot about it too. And that was 100% a sacrifice, because they have to like do sacrifices for the energies, like they want the souls of people. And so that's what he did. And I tried talking about it, and people came for me, and they're like, that I was trying to discredit or not be sensitive to the deaths. Of course I'm sensitive to the deaths. I'm just trying to help you guys wake up. And like people just didn't want to wake up to it. So I was like, all right, people aren't ready yet. Like there's so many things that I would want to talk about, and people just weren't ready to hear it. So when people started being like, oh my God, I knew there was more to you than just chilies. And I'm like, yeah, but I couldn't talk about it. I had to wait till people were ready to hear it. So now that I can talk about it, I'm like, oh, finally I can talk about this stuff that nobody wanted to talk about before. So So yeah, and you guys saw him. He knew exactly what was going on. Do I think the devil is real? I think that maybe not the perception of the devil that we think. I think there is negative sources, negative energies, negative entities, negative beings that are on, like in the Bible it says that like the devil or Satan is the ruler of this earth. So he pretty much wants to rule this planet, which is why there's so much evil here. Whatever whatever Satan or devil really is, I think it's just a negative entity that wants to take over. And it was like a few hours ago, my latest video is about the reptilians, and they say that the reptilians have been around since essentially like the beginning of time, which are aliens that are known to be like the most evil in all of the galaxies. I guess from Orion and reptilians are apparently the most like two evil ones, and reptilians have been trying to take over the humanity's civilization since the beginning. And so when the Mayans, I posted like a clip of article about the Mayans, that the Mayans had called them iguana people or iguana men or something, because they looked like iguanas, and that they came from the heavens, the sky, and started taking over civilization. And that's how they learned to build pyramids. They learned to build pyramids from the iguana men. But I guess as time went on, apparently they also, the iguana men were also in the form of dinosaurs. And then after the dinosaurs got wiped out, they were kind of just like these alien beings. And I guess over time, they just, you know, mixed into hybrids of people and stuff. And if you guys haven't watched Gods Among Us on Amazon Prime, definitely watch it. It talks about the hybrid process and how women have had their alien abductions and have had hybrid alien babies. That's pretty cool because people haven't like talked about that. That's pretty cool. Like, and it's crazy because there's so many women that have the same story from all over the world. Do I think Atlantis is real? Yes, Atlantis was real, and it is, the remnants are here to remind us that we've been here before, and that's humanity has done this before, and to not fuck it up again. Gods Amongst Us on Amazon Prime. There's like, I think 2 of them, Amongst Us. Gods is like really tiny, so it's like Amongst Us. Can we see your eyes close up? I mean, I have the ring light in front of me, so you're only going to be able to see the ring light, but where's the camera? Somebody said that, like, every time they see my eyes, I, like, put them in a trance, so. What if we are Atlantis? I mean, we've definitely, like, some of us have definitely been in Atlantis before. Movie recommendations. I have a video about movie recommendations. If your town is playing Everything Everywhere All at Once, go watch it. Get tickets right now. It talks about the multi-universe. Amazing movie. Which somebody asked, talk about, do I believe in karma? Yes, karma definitely is real. And like with me, when I did my Akashic Records reading, I asked like, why did I pick, you know, my family? And it was like, it was a contract. Apparently it was a karmic contract. I had to pay karmic debt off. I don't know. I don't know what I did in past lives that I like had to go through this karma, but I think once we pay off our karmic debt is when we can really start like ascending. Oh yeah, so movie recommendations. So yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once is on theaters right now. Bliss on Amazon Prime. Amazing movie. I watched that like last year. So fucking good. A Bliss with Salma Hayek and Owen Wilson. The Truman Show. Apparently Free Guy. I haven't watched Free Guy yet. Of course, The Matrix, Inception, Pleasantville. Pleasantville is one of my favorite movies growing up. Definitely watch Pleasantville. I didn't talk about Pleasantville in my video. The Butterfly Effect. Amazing movie, The Butterfly Effect. What was the other time traveling one? Predestination. That's a good one. Lucy. There's another one that I forgot. There's a few that I forgot. Bliss is such a fucking good movie. I watched it like 3 times. I think I might watch it again soon. What do I think about the Pope? The Pope will be working with the Antichrist whenever that comes around, if it comes around. the OA. I haven't watched the OA yet. People talk about Limitless. That's the one I was trying to think of. People talk about Interstellar. I haven't watched it. I also haven't watched Melancholia, which I need to watch. I haven't watched Moonfall. I haven't watched any of those. Documentary Zeitgeist. Oh my god, if you guys want to wake up, please go watch Zeitgeist right now. It's so fucking good. There's 3 parts. They're really long, but it literally says everything from beginning to end. It talks about mythology, it talks about religion, it talks about like our system, our political system, it talks about how the IRS got started, the Federal Reserve, it talks about our whole system and what we're doing right now. There's 3 parts, like, and then it talks about like how we can move forward. You know, we do have the resources to change the planet. We're just not using them because they don't want us to use it. There's 3 parts and there's a 4th part coming out this year and I can't fucking wait. Zeitgeist, Zeigist. Google Zeitgeist. The Zeitgeist movie site will come up. They have all of the links on there of where you can watch it. I think right now it's up on YouTube. They take it down off YouTube all the time and then they end up having to keep re-uploading it. Right now I think it is free on YouTube. I'm gonna watch it again. But they also have it on like literally on like, I think they said like Apple TV, and if you go on their site, it shows like all of the different links that you can watch it on. So just Google Zeitgeist. Yeah, Zeitgeist is on YouTube. Go watch Zeitgeist. It's like 2 hours long for like each one, but it's so informative. If you guys want to wake up, watch fucking Zeitgeist. So good. I need to watch it again. Let's see. They made a movie called The Mandela Effect in 2019. I haven't seen it. Okay, thoughts on the Kardashian kids, especially Stormy. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about Stormy. I think the kids are definitely going to be their karma. Like North, definitely Kim's karma. She's hilarious. She's a Gemini with a Libra. Oh my god. Oh my god, Angel, you work at Chili's. If you've gone into the negative with your tip share, or if you have any evidence of having to tip out the food runner while they were not on the clock, please, I need evidence of pay stubs or anything that you have, because we're going to do a class action lawsuit against them with the runner system. So we're trying to collect evidence. I have to make a video about it. But if anybody, if you have that, or if anybody you know at your job has any information or any evidence that we can submit for the lawsuit, please contact me like on Instagram or something so that we can get that. Okay, let's see. I was at Chili's earlier. Absolutely not. Don't do it. It's trash. Is it true servers get paid $2 an hour? Yes. Yeah. I have the End the Runner System petition in my link tree. I have the sexual harassment petition in my link tree, and I have the Expose the Pepper Share Your Story in my link tree. If you want to share your story working there. And yeah, if you have any evidence as far as like the whole runner system goes and like your money being taken, let me know, because we want to do a class action lawsuit against them. Oh wait, I think I'm behind. What are ways you believe in opening, what are ways you believe you can open your third eye? First you want to start by deprogramming everything you've learned and realizing that everything they've told you is a lie. So that's why I'm making the videos that I'm making, to try to deprogram you guys, to dismantle the system. Then you also want to meditate, pray, heal your inner child, go back to not staying in the victim mentality of your trauma, whatever that may be, letting it go, not saying that you have to forgive the person, but it's just letting it go for yourself. You want to meditate. It's just like be one with yourself, and just don't like be on your phone or have any distractions. It'll really help you connect to yourself. And then that's when you can start really connecting to your higher self. Like you can listen to guided meditations, you can listen to hypnosis, you can listen to that stuff that can help you tap into that. And also listen to binaural beats, healing frequencies, because our body is all vibrations. So if you listen to these frequencies, which is 528 hertz or anything with 369, those are all really good for our bodies, because our body is like mostly all water. So when we hear these sounds, it vibrates, our body vibrates. That can help as well. So I already talked about the Mandela effect. Okay, so with the servers, yeah, so servers like make $2 to $5 an hour, mostly everywhere except for like 7 states pay at least a minimum wage. So servers live off tips, which is why you should be tipping when you go out to eat. Unfortunately, it shouldn't fall on the customer, but unfortunately it does because of the society that we're living in. So, you know, I don't like when people don't tip or say like, well, I don't believe in tipping. Okay, it's not a belief system. It's just the society. It's like a contract that you have agreed to when you walk into the doors of a restaurant and you decide to have a server wait on you. You have agreed to a social contract that when you walk in, they're providing you a service and you will tip them accordingly to the service. Average is 20%. If they don't do a good job, you can leave a little less. If they do a great job, you can leave more. But that's what it is. Whether you like it or not, that's the fucking rules. If you don't like it, don't go out to eat at a dine-in restaurant. Fucking go to McDonald's. I don't give a shit what your opinion is on tipping. If you choose to go to a dine-in restaurant, you fucking tip. Because that's the society we live in. Until we can change it, that's the shit you gotta do. What do I think about ego death? I talked about ego death earlier. I think everybody needs to go through an ego death to really open your third eye and be able to shift realities. It's not 15%, it's 20. 15% was like in maybe the 80s. We're in 2022, so it's 20%. Why did they get rid of gratuity? The IRS got rid of gratuity in 2013 because money. So they changed the rules to where the restaurant had to say it was a wage and not a tip because there was a different way they do the taxes. So restaurants do taxes differently when it's tipped employees versus a wage employee. So because they were saying that gratuities were mandatory, which they're not mandatory, like people could have taken off that gratuity if they wanted to. They said, well, we're going to consider it a wage. So now you have to pay extra taxes on it. The restaurant would have to pay extra taxes on it and do extra paperwork for it. So they said, if you guys don't want to do that, you're going to have to get rid of gratuity. So guess what? Oh yeah, 11/11. So guess what? A lot of corporate chains got rid of gratuity because they were like, fuck the server. I don't give a fuck about them. I'm not paying more taxes on it. So they got rid of it in 2013 and it was fucking horrible. I hated it. I would take parties of like 30 and get no tips. And on top of that, I still had to tip out like the support staff. I had to pay for everyone else while I wasn't getting tipped. So I was paying out of pocket. So it's bullshit. These corporations just don't give a shit. Now I work in California. Most places do have gratuity, thank God. So for parties over 6, we add gratuity at my place. So that's great. And they just call it a service charge and they pay the taxes on it, thank God. But yeah, fuck the fucking IRS. It's such a fucking scam. Earth shift happily 11/11. Yeah. 7/11. Let's see. How to tell if you're woken up. Well, I think if you're here, you're definitely in the right path. I think you're starting to question things. You're starting to dismantle the system. You're starting to figure things out. So you're in the process. And how did you find out what planet you came from? I did my Akashic Records reading and I asked and they told me. You can also do like maybe a past life regression. I don't know how else you could do it. Maybe if you go under hypnosis, you can. Have you heard about Empress Music? She preaches her entire life of being a creator on your own life. No, I haven't, but I definitely will. What do you think about the ancient alien theory? Are you talking about like reptilians? I made a video about that, about the Mayans and the iguana men and stuff, which I believe. I think like I think the thing is that like a lot of our land has been colonized. We have to look back at places that haven't been colonized. So like the fact that I talked about Ethiopia, like they haven't been colonized. We need to go back to like the Asian countries that haven't been colonized, Middle Eastern countries that haven't been colonized. They all have like essentially like I don't know, but like do Hindu or Muslim wear this for like their third eye? Is that why they do that? Because they're all about the chakras and opening up their chakras and stuff. And I think like they're more closer to the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension because of their teachings, and they were never colonized, so they're still like within their roots. And then let's not forget, like, you know, like I said, the Stonehenge, the crystal skulls, pyramids, and Atlantis, those are all ancient artifacts that are here to remind us that we've been here before, and are proof that we've been here before. Like the pyramids, like people want to say the pyramids weren't done by aliens. They definitely were. Like our civilization came from aliens. We're like an alien experiment. There were 6 races before us of aliens. And I wish I could show you guys the map. I have the map of the galaxies. So there's like Earth, Mars, Sirius, Lyra, Zeta, Vega. There's like all the races before us, and they made us when we're the only ones with unlimited free will, because they wanted to see how we would handle it. And then our dumbasses fucked it up every time, so they keep having to wipe us clean. Oh, that's another movie, Mother. Graphic content warning, but great movie. It pretty much is about the cycle of life or this planet. It's like it starts off, we start off clean, we do it great, then we destroy the planet, it gets destroyed, we gotta do it again. It's like this whole cycle that we gotta keep repeating. Oh my god, The Good Place. The Good Place is so in our faces. Watch The Good Place. If you don't want to watch anything that's gonna be graphic, watch The Good Place and Utopia on Amazon Prime. Utopia's on Amazon Prime. Oh my god, Severance. If you guys have Apple TV, please watch Severance. I'm obsessed with this show. The way that it is so in our faces, this show is so obvious. And literally in the show, they say, they can wake us up at any time. And I'm like, that's us right now. They can wake us up at any time. And I feel like that's why I was woken up. It's because like they can wake us up at any time. And that's literally what the show is about. The show is about, what's his name, Adam Scott, the one that played Amy Poehler's love interest in fucking Parks and Rec. So he's like the main character, and so it's a show about how they work at this place called Lumen. You got to think about the symbolism in the words Lumen. Okay, so Lumen is like illuminate. Okay, so Lumen, and then they put this microchip in their brain where they can severance, and it's like a severance package, but they can severance their work life from their home life. So then they're at work, and their work person is called the innie, and they only know about their work life. And then the minute they get in the elevator and they're going up to their car, they become their outie, and then their outie only knows the outside life. And so they did this so that they could like keep their work life and home life separate. But then they don't know about each other's life. Like the work innie doesn't know anything about the home outie, and the home outie doesn't know anything about the work innie. And so yes, Severance on Apple TV. It's so fucking good. It's only 8 episodes. So they work at this, corporation or company called Lumen, and it's so obvious that like Lumen is our life right now. It's about the work, the mundane. It's like gray, the symbolism. It's about like being trapped. It's about not being able to like, do anything else besides your work life, right? And then your outer life like doesn't know anything. But then the outies chose to do this. They chose to be severed, which is literally what our souls chose to do. So our souls chose to be severed and become our innies, which is what we are right now. We're innies. And so then they like chose that because they're like, yeah, you need to do this. Like, don't worry about it. This is what you need to do. Go in there and whatever. And then like the innies start hating their outies because they're like, why would my outie do this to me? Like, why did they put me here? And I'm like, that's literally us on this planet. Like, why did they put me here? And so they can ask their outie, like, can I leave? And then they'll ask like, hey, like, I really don't want to do this. Like, can you just like get me out of here? And their outie will be like, no, you got to do it. And so then they hate their outie, and they're like, I fucking hate my outie. So they're trying to find a way to get out. And anytime they try, they can't leave. There's no way out. They're stuck there. Their innies are stuck there. So then they start hating their innies or their outies. So it's so good. But then it's like, they have like they have like a punishment room. And when they go into the punishment room, they have to like say like a prayer essentially. It's like everything is different, but like it's all symbolism, right? So then they're like reading this prayer and they have to say it over and over. Like, let's say it's like the holy, oh, Holy Father, hallowed be thy name, da da da. They have to say that, but that's not what they say. They have like another version of it. But they're like, oh, Holy Father, hallowed be thy name, da da da, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. They have their prayer, right? They do that, and that's their punishment, and they have to do it over and over again. I'm like, this is literally the representation of religion. And so then, sorry, I'm like giving you spoilers, but Severance on Apple TV. And so then they do that, and then they just are like stuck in this place and they can never leave. And they have this like boss that they all like have to follow, and it's Keegan, I think the name is. I can't remember what the name is, but they're like they worship him, and he's like everything. So like the work life of Lumen is literally like the our world right now, between like the work life, the corporation, and the religion all in one. And then the Audi is just like living their best life, not giving a fuck about what's going on with the innie. And so towards the end, they get woken up for a little bit. Sorry guys, I gave you a spoiler alert, but it's so good. Towards the end, they get woken up for a few minutes, and then their memories clash together. And it's like our 3D self merging with our 5D self, and we realize they wake up, and then they're like, holy shit, wait, like, this is what's happening. And then they start telling people what's going on. And then it fucking ends. It's such a good show, and I was pissed about the fucking finale. Pissed about the finale because I didn't want it to end. Apparently, there's another season that's being renewed. Amazing fucking show. I mean, I didn't give you guys all of the spoilers. I just told you guys a little bit, but great show. Now that you know the breakdown, maybe you guys will get it more, but it's a great show. Severance on Apple TV. Do we have doppelgangers? Probably, yeah. They should make a movie. Well, you can also watch like Bliss. Bliss is very similar to that too. About us having like different versions of us, somewhere else, like in the 5D. Oh, any dead celebrities who I think are alive? Yes, Lisa Left Eye. Left Eye from TLC. Let me tell, have you guys watched her documentary before she died? When she was on that trip in like South America or something. And she was talking about how she was over like this life and she didn't want to do this anymore. And then all of a sudden she dies in a car crash and catches it on tape. I believe that she's alive, living her best life in South America somewhere. I totally think that Lisa Left Eye is alive. 100%. As far as like Tupac goes, they say that his soul is like in somebody else's body. So, I don't know. I definitely think, I would never believe that she was dead. Yeah, the VH1 documentary. I've never believed that she was dead. I was like, how convenient that she like recorded her death. It just seems like it was a setup. Michael Jackson. People think that Michael Jackson is still alive. I don't know if he is, because in my vision I got told that he was murdered. So I think he was murdered by his doctor because he was like exposing a lot of stuff. Oh, Lisa recorded like her own death. She has like her documentary, she recorded her own accident that she died in. So it's like, I'm like, this seems like a setup. Aaliyah. I think Aaliyah, I don't know. They're saying that Aaliyah's soul is also in somebody else's body because all this new stuff is coming out. Even though she's like, she died, but she's coming out with new music. Like the hologram stuff kind of thing, Brittany Murphy was murdered, not by who we think she was murdered. If you guys want to go watch JK Ultra's Brittany Murphy playlist. She says who killed her. Who she thinks killed her. Thoughts on the Titanic. I just watched a video about the Titanic this morning and how it sunk, but it was like found and it's not in the ocean. It's like under land right now, and that Christopher Columbus didn't actually discover all this stuff. I watched it this morning. Somebody tagged me in it. Oh, I don't know about Kim Jong-un. I don't know enough about the Titanic. Okay, hold on. Somebody's requesting. Let's see what they want. Hello?
Hi there.
Hi. Are you there? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi.
Hey, I was the guy that made a comment under your video.
Oh, which one? There's a lot.
The one where they're talking about the flat Earth.
Okay.
Yeah, for some reason that comment is going crazy on your video right now. Like every time when I check my notification, I keep seeing somebody liked it when I said NASA in Hebrews means to deceive,
Oh
and some
yeah,
people they couldn't.
a lot of people have been commenting that. I didn't know that.
It's crazy how life works out, but only those who have awakening and got the spiritual eyes can see what's going on and can relate.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus
I never believed we landed on the moon, and I never believed that the earth was round just because it didn't logically make sense to me.
no,
I was
because
like, okay, sure.
no, because me myself keep questioning since I was a kid. Like, if the Earth was actually round, wouldn't everything would be downward spiral? Because if you look at a physical ball and you put stuff on the ball, don't you see it goes like downward and doesn't stay flat on the ball?
Yeah, that's what I always thought. I thought the center of gravity didn't make sense to me, like pulled to the center of the. I also didn't believe that the layers of the earth were what they said they were. I was like, how would they know? They've never been there. Like they didn't drill a hole to the center of the earth, so how do they know? And how are places not upside down and people aren't upside down? How are we not upside down? Like it just doesn't make logical sense to me. I think I keep losing him.
I I'm back. I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I strongly agree because how these things are even possible? How, like, where's the evidence to prove these things? And even with the moon landing, because I was trying to get some friend of mine I was telling some friend of mine about the moon landing that it was fake. They didn't believe me, and when I showed them the documentary about it, they couldn't believe their eyes. They're like, "What?" Because
Yeah.
the actual photo that Neil Armstrong supposedly taking on the quote unquote moon, that was in the Nevada desert. They were the whole time filming that, doing the whole shoot and everything, and I couldn't believe
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah. I never believed.
then when they came back to supposedly Earth, and the news report, I think you even said that in one of your videos too, when one of the I think one of the press asked him the question and they were acting all uncomfortable. They don't want to answer because they know they're gonna slip up. They know they actually slip
Yeah.
up when they try to play they're trying to play cool.
Yeah.
And I'm
I've
like,
seen
yeah,
other
all right.
interviews. And I couldn't find the video, but there's an interview with the three astronauts that supposedly went to the moon, and they were so uncomfortable. They didn't want to answer any questions. They didn't want to lie. Yeah, you could tell like their conscience, their guilty conscience was like
It's
they didn't
killing
want to
them.
talk about it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
yeah,
same video. That's the same video I'm talking about. It's actually in the moon landing documentary. If you go look it up, it's on YouTube actually. And the other thing when they were saying about going to space and the same flat Earth video you got. I've been asking the question because I'm not religious. Well, let me break it down first before before I'm going to get to where I'm going to. Because when I read the Bible, I don't read it for no quote unquote religious garbage. Because that's all Western fiasco and European fiasco when you read from the Bible or any stuff like that. Because all those books they possess information. Everything in front of us actually possess information. But however, when I read from the book of Genesis and it said that God subsided the waters from the heavens and the earth, I said and the firmament actually. I said if a firmament is like a dome, how the hell these guys leave the firmament and go to quote unquote space? Because we
right.
seen in the Simpsons when they bring a dome over Springfield, no one couldn't leave in the Springfield and in the Simpson movie. So the question I asked, like, if there's an actual dome over the earth, then how the frick these guys they leave and go to quote unquote space? How? And all
Yeah,
the backstories behind all these planets, they all got something to do with some satanic name, like Saturn, Jupiter, and all these names and stuff like that. And the question I ask again, if if the moon is a luminary object, how the hell could they land on a luminary object? Make that make sense? Because no one can never land on a luminary object. That's impossible.
yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
yeah. They like They keep putting it in our faces with The Simpsons, with The Truman Show, with The Hunger Games, and now apparently there's a new commercial that's out. I can't remember for what, that literally shows that we live in a dome. So it's like they just keep telling us that we live in a dome.
It's so funny. 2020, I was walking with me and my girlfriend. We were walking, and then for some reason, I look at the sky, and I'm like, "Babe, if you actually look at the sky, you can tell that's actually a dome. Because look at it." I put my finger up and I pointed down. He said, "If you look closely over there, pointing on the other side," I said, "That's actually going downward. That's not going straight up. If you pay attention, if you like look at the sky and then try to look down on the ground, on the flat surface, you can see everything is like going like spiral, like going spiral like a sphere. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I look at it, I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, this is actually a dome. This is not what we think it is.
Well, and people have like I've seen videos of people seeing the grid up in the sky. Like I don't know if I saved it, but I saw like there was like the grid, like literally like a matrix. I'm like, yeah, we definitely live in a matrix. People have said that they've seen the grid in the sky, so there's
If you
definitely
if you've seen the movie Kong versus Godzilla, remember he tossed a spear into the sky and realized it was a hologram all this time, and he got mad. And I'm like, yeah. And even The Simpsons, there's a recent episode when they're playing baseball and they bat the ball in the firmament, and then you just see the water broke into the where we are, the actual surface where we are. I'm like, oh, wow, they literally just exposed this.
yeah. They keep doing that. Stephen King's Under the Dome. Someone said I astral projected and I saw the dome. So I think the thing is that people think the Earth is flat, but like they think of it in a square, and I don't think that it's a square and it's flat. I think it's circular. It's like a sphere, and like there's a dome, and that there's life underneath us as well, like on the underworld. And they say like, well, how would the sun and the moon then like not hit us all at once? Well, if we're in a dome and the sun is rotating and the moon is rotating around the dome, then that's how like certain parts have sun and certain don't. Like, I don't
Yep.
know. I think that makes sense to me. And if it's all a hologram, why do you guys need like logical explanations for things? There's no logical explanation to anything. You guys just think so like limitedly. Like,
They think like what the elites actually have all of us as mindless, useless eaters.
exactly.
Like literally, that's what they have all of us as mindless,
Yeah.
useless eaters. Believe everything that we tell them. We're
Yeah,
like
they
dogs.
literally.
We're like dogs to them.
Yeah,
Dogs believe
exactly.
everything.
We're we're literally nothing to them. They don't care, and they laugh at us. They laugh at us at like our stupidity because we're just like, oh well, that's what they said. And like I don't like when people are like, well, where's your scientific evidence? And I'm like, science is also man made,
Yep.
and it's
Thank
also
you.
made up.
Because even with the same, this is a touchy subject for some of your viewers in here. Even with the same with the quote unquote COVID-19 vaccine, I'm like something is strange is going on
Yeah,
because when the Zika virus come back in 2016 during the Olympics in Brazil, remember it came for some time and then within months it's gone. How comes there wasn't no vaccine needed or no cure was needed at the time? And prior to that also again and incidentally, again, in Brazil, when the World Cup 2014, the Ebola crisis was going heavy around worldwide. How comes there was no cure? Where was the cure for all of this?
hmm
And we can go to the Spanish flu, we can go to many other viruses. But you mean to tell me as soon as 2020 come, there is a cure for a thing
Well,
called?
by the way, with the Spanish flu, they actually did create a vaccine, and it turned out that the vaccine ended up killing people years later because it was they experimented on the military. So
So funny you just mentioned that too, because the Ebola situation, they were experimenting it on the homelesses in the state of Nevada. They were kidnapping them by the millions against their will, and taking
wow.
them to some secret headquarters in Louisiana, and testing them. And that's when they go bring it over in Africa, and they make it seem like it's the Africans are the reason why this thing is around. Notice how they love to target impoverished places, and then
Yeah,
make it seem
well,
like it's them.
that's another thing that they said that they made certain countries bigger on the map than what they are because the the countries of people of color they made smaller so that they would think that they're less than, but then they're
Yeah.
actually way bigger than they are.
You're right, because that's why in the Caribbean a lot of folks, because I'm originally from Jamaica. Then when I was younger I moved to New York, Then I moved to Toronto, Canada when I was younger. But I go back and forth with Toronto and New York because when I was in Jamaica, everybody there, they all of my people, not just in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, they're all psychologically controlled by America's media and
Yeah.
thinking that America and Canada are safe havens for them, when in the reality it's a trap. And I tell these people that, listen, where you guys are at, a lot of even American born and Canadian born are moving to these parts from those sides where they were born. And I tell them because the way how they project these things to us, because I was one of them. I'm not gonna lie, because I for some reason I have to find myself, because when I look deep into things, I'm like, how here and there is not too far different. It's just because of the currencies is controlling people's mind,
Mm-hmm.
and the way how they projected America, people, they believe that America is better. You can go there and get this and get that, and they have all of this a fantasy thought process when they come here in America. It's all a land of milk and honey. And I tell
Yeah.
them like, listen, it's not what you guys think. They only put America in the books in the Caribbean bigger and you guys smaller to make you guys feel less than them. Then you guys
Yeah.
need them more than they need you guys. When in the
Yeah.
reality they need you guys.
Yeah.
That's the whole situation. It's all brainwashing. Somebody says it right in the comment
Yeah.
section.
It's all brainwashing. What's interesting is I know you said you're not religious or anything, but when I was growing up, that was something that my mom taught me was like, America is the most evil country and will be the downfall of literally of society. And it will, like, I knew all this growing up because my mom was very into all of this as well and would tell me like at the end of times, like there will be 1% that will rule everything and there will eventually destroy humanity until everyone will be poor 99%. And that's what we're going through right now because of the book of Revelation. But I always knew that like America was an evil country and it's literally all brainwashing. And I
It
would try
is.
to tell people and they're like, no. And I'm like, yes, it is. Like literally the American dream, you have to be asleep to believe it.
Yes, you're right.
You have
And
to be asleep to believe it.
this is the year of revelation. Actually, I only read the book for understanding, not for religious purposes, because people's ignorance when they hear about the Bible, it's all religion, 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 Christianity,
Right.
Christianity. They think
Exactly.
they revolve their minds around. No, well, not they actually. Let me reiterate that one. America revolves their mind around. The American media revolves their mind around. Because remember, well, I'm not gonna lie, I was religious, but the religion how they teach me how to be religious was to be more was to love more like white people and hate myself as a black person. Like that's how they used to taught me religion and gave me white images and substitute my mind to believe that these people are more better than you. And I used to be ignorant with those things. Like when I was growing up in the Caribbean, I used to be thinking that when I come to America, I'm gonna become white. Like seriously speaking, this is how religion used to got me thinking crazy, and all the
Wow.
and all the beauty standards, how they whitewash everything. You see what I'm saying? Because when I come into these, I think that when I come into these parts, my whole future is gonna change. I'm gonna be white. Like I used to be thinking like that because of the white Jesus that they gave to me when I was younger. That's the kind of religion that I was in with Christianity. This is why I'm against Christianity so much, because they mind control all of our people.
Hmm.
Everybody, not just black people, everybody, they mind control and telling them to have faith. There is somebody's coming back. And I'm like, bro, this is the time of war right now. Armageddon in the Hebrew tongues again. This is in the book of Revelation, where nobody's not trying to understand because everybody's so arrogantly holding on to these beliefs and these thought process and all this kind of fiasco that America keep telling them. And I'm like, guys, if you guys don't wake up, don't look at me. I cannot save you. I can only try to encourage you, but if you don't listen, kudos to you. That's on you. But it's sad how the Americas keep brainwashing everybody.
Hmm.
The West in general, not just the United States, because we're all Americans over here. Whether you're from the Caribbean or Central America or South America, but you know how America does it. You have to be born in the United States to be an American, to get called America, to get
Hmm.
called an American. That's what people fail to understand, because it's a lot of psychological damages, like I keep mentioning. Because you see, even the word psychic come from the Kemetic tongue, from the Kemetic word, which means the soul. So when they say they're working on you psychologically, that means they're working on you spiritually. You see how they use the same people that they put in slavery. They use their own stuff against them every day, and
Yep.
they don't even know that.
Yep.
That
Mm-hmm.
is like using the system against the system. And incidentally, saying this to you, I say this to a girlfriend of mine last night. How incident, you see how incident the spirit works, comes right back around. It's
Mm-hmm.
always I'm a spiritual person. I don't do religion, none of that stuff. It keeps everybody divisive, deluded, and what's the other word I'd be looking for? Divisive, deluded, and ignorant. Because even the word ignorant, it only means lack of knowledge or information.
Yep.
We all been to school when we heard one kid in the classroom said miss and say something that is truth, and the teacher knows the truth, and the teacher will pull him or out to outside and said you cannot be saying these stuff here because they know
Yeah.
the kid right there know that's an agenda that's going on from the beginning. And
Yeah.
I said to my
School
kids,
is School is
go ahead,
just
go ahead.
made to make you be brainwashed, and to the fact that, like, if you speak up in school, you have to raise your hand before you can speak. You have to get a pass to go to the bathroom. If you speak up, you get you're gonna be in timeout. If you say anything, oh, if you do good, you get a gold star. They're literally training you to be little slave soldiers
Yeah,
for what.
pretty much.
You're not allowed to be a free thinker, think outside the box, critical thinker, like nothing. You have to just literally take in this information and regurgitate it, and that's it. And take these tests. We don't care about if you actually know anything about anything. And then they change our history, they whitewash our history, they lied in our history books, they lied about everything. And then now that they want to do critical race theory, they want to ban that. They want to ban, did the do not say gay bill. Like, they're losing control. This is what's happening right now in the United States. Is
Babylon fallen.
it's literally like, when you're in an abusive relationship and the person that is the abuser is losing control
Oh
because they
my God, I always use that analogy over
that's
and
exactly
over.
what's happening right now. That's exactly what's happening right now. America, United States is our abuser, and it is losing control. And so they are doing everything to keep us under their control. It is like when you're trying to leave your abusive relationship, they will do anything to keep you there. And that is what is happening right now because they see that we are waking up and we're trying to leave it.
Yeah, and you know it's another big distraction that I see they're using, and I'm not being, and this is not no to those who in the comments, to those who are your viewers of the years that is a part of the LGBT. This is not no hate or no homophobic I'm spreading, because no, this is not no hate. This is the truth. The reason why they're pushing these agendas is to keep you guys distracted, to make you guys believe that you and them are on the same page. Because I had to tell a lot of people that are part of the LGBTQ community, like, listen, all these corporate entity you're seeing waving the rainbow flag, don't fall for that shit. Because I spoke with a lot of them that don't fall for that because they know it's a money making agenda that they're doing. So when they see that they're waving their flag, they believe that they will automatically think that, okay, that's one of our allies right there. No, it's not.
No, like Disney has like Disney Gay Days or Parade or whatever, but they donated money into the Do Not Say Gay bill.
I know. Recently
So
in Florida,
yeah,
they did
yeah,
this,
Florida,
and I keep
yeah,
telling people that are part of LGBTQ, you guys need to pay attention to who's your allies out here. Not everybody is. I mean, I know
no,
some of you guys, I talk to you guys, but you guys also need to understand that not every there's country outside of the Americas that is that has legislation, and countries within the Americas like the Caribbean, they got legislation that are against LGBTQ, that you can go to jail or you can die. Russia have this law. The Ermites have this law. Egypt has this law. China has this law. You see what I'm saying? But
mm-hmm.
because we understand these issues now, and when we say these things without breaking it down for them, they will get mad because of lack of knowledge. Why
Yeah,
they wouldn't know these things? And I keep telling them, listen, the reason why they're pushing all of these LGBT whatever, and even Joe Biden having a transgender person in the Senate, it's a distraction. The Kamala Harris, the black woman, is a distraction, and the new judge Brown, the black woman, a distraction, completely distraction. I'm black and I could agree on a lot of these things right here that is going on. The truth is going to be the truth regardless if me and you here go out of existence tomorrow. It's going to stay standing right here. You see what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
But this is what
Yeah,
they fail to understand. They're not seeing the bigger picture of what is going on. And just as the analogy you mentioned, America is losing. So they're doing everything in their powers to try to keep it, which they know they're going out. It's like the same analogy with the relationship. not even a relationship, a situationship. And then the person that's realizes they can't control you no more. They're doing everything in their powers. I mean, we all been in that situation before. Me myself too.
Yeah, same. So yeah, they definitely are. They're trying to hold on as much as they can, but I have faith that we're going to overcome this. With now entering the age of Aquarius, and we just left the disintegration process of 13 years and going into integration. I think the more people that speak out and we can try to, wake people up, then we can overcome this for finally after so many tries that we've done this and we clearly can't get out of it. Hopefully we all wake up this time. I
20,
have faith.
2020. I had a reality that was I had a vision. Well, not necessarily. Well, a prophecy is a vision actually that I seen these days was coming. Because before we cross over to 2020, that is when I feel myself like I become more physically imposed in my spiritual awakening, my spiritual walk. Because ever since I was younger, I was always spiritual. For some reason, I don't know why, but I was always spiritual. And when 2019 come, that's when I became like physically imposed, and I started reading more. And I'm like, oh my God, if you guys, I'll just start going out in the public and just watching the public. They're in a mind control when I'm observing the public. And I'm like, listen, a year from now, you guys gonna be sorry. If you guys don't wake up, you guys gonna be sorry. But
Yeah.
because I don't want to get called crazy, I just set it in my mind and just pay attention. Because sometimes there's a time in the season, as King Solomon would say, there's a time in the seasons for everything under the sun. There's a time in the season when you can speak, you can hate, you can do anything under the sun when that time comes. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But look at it right now. All some of my people, they're sorry right now that they took the vaccine. They're sorry, and it's too
I've seen a lot of people that have said that they regret taking it. I mean, and again, like I'm not for it and I'm not against it. I personally didn't take it just because I didn't get sick for 2 years. So I was like, why am I going to take something when I'm healthy and fine? There's no point for me to take it. And then when I did get COVID, I got a fever for one day and I lost my voice. That's all that happened. I didn't get sick really. So, but yeah, a lot of people are saying they regret taking it now because I mean, again, it was a distraction to create a divide in people. Anti-vaxxers, I'm tired of these labels. Anti-vaxxers, QAnon,
yeah, yeah.
conspiracy theory. Like, stop
Yes.
giving people labels. Stop. Like, you
Stop
guys
living here as a
all
conspiracist. It's a truth in front of you.
yeah, it's right in front of you. And like, people come in and want to attack me, and I'm like, how many conspiracy theories need to be proven right before you guys realize that it's the truth and they're not conspiracies?
And you know the sad part about it? People that love to cry about where's your proof, this and that, the third. I've always noticed when you give them the proof, they still go crazy. And
Yeah.
I found out with people that are like that, it's not that they want the proof or the facts. It's just that they're telling you they don't want to know. They want to live this way. That's what they're telling you.
Yeah, they
Subliminally,
just
they're
want to
charging you.
stay asleep and they want to stay in the denial. And that's fine. That means that their soul has chosen that path and that is okay. If they want to stay asleep, that's their path that they're on. But, then go be with other people that are asleep because there's other people that actually do want to wake up.
Yeah, it's so funny too. Even 2019, incidentally again, I actually woke seven people up.
I
Seven
mean,
people up. I woke.
that's awesome. Yeah, the collective started waking up in 2018. A lot of people were awake before that, but it was very individual.
Yeah, it's
Um,
more like individuals for real. Because I remember those eras.
yeah. So
And
I was watching an interview on Gaia where the lady Lisa Royal channeled the Sirius ambassador from Sirius, and she was saying that the dolphin energy is associated with Sirius, but it was more of the individual. It was the people that were individually awake. But right now we've moved on to the whale energy, which is more of a collective.
yes.
Everybody waking up as a collective, which is funny because I've always been obsessed with whales as a kid. So I thought that was interesting that like I had a connection to whales, and then now it's like the collective was waking up and we're in the whale energy. So I think that's awesome that we're now moving from the dolphin to the whale energy and
And
everybody.
so you see, with whales, actually, when I was younger, I used to honor them spiritually for some reason. Looking back at it spiritually, I used to honor them as the king of the ocean. Like
Yeah.
that's what I used to honor them as, the king of the ocean, because when they see us, they don't mistaken us for food or nothing like that. They know us by oh damn, let me see what I'm looking for to say. Because this conversation is so powerful, I can't even stutter right now.
And that's me. Every time I start making videos, I start stuttering because there's so much information that I have to give. And I
Yeah.
never stutter. So it's crazy that's been happening to a lot of
Yeah,
people.
because they're mammals like us. Because they have like they have like 3 hours under the water to come back up to get air and go back down. Same with dolphins, because dolphins are humans protectors, and but people misunderstand them, and now they're labeling them as some type of crazy being, some type of crazy aquatic species. Because I know somebody personally that says the dolphin saved him once, that lead him back to
Oh,
shore, like
I
he
love
was
dolphins.
lost. Yeah, because they're similar to us. And you know what's so funny? Since they're trying to hide so much because everything is coming out in the public. I recently seen a TikToker where this guy, he was out in the sea one night and he heard sirens and
Yes,
heard
that's Sauce
dolphins.
90. Oh my God, you guys have
Sauce
to
90,
follow
I
him.
follow him.
He's
I
so
po-
great.
I posted
And
him.
yeah, he's always he's a fisherman. He's always out in the ocean and he hears the sirens. And did you know that the government actually went on his boat?
Boat. I was gonna get there.
Yeah, they went on his boat. They banned his account. They said they were doing a random search because he was exposing the fact that there's life in the ocean besides just the fish that we know of.
Yeah, and and you know it's so funny when that video went viral because I posted on my TikTok, because my TikTok is about uplifting and spreading awareness. Because how I get so many followers and likes, because of my awareness about protecting females. I don't care what do they look like, because I got a little girl myself.
Hmm.
Because me, I'm always protective of females, because I grew up around a lot of females. I have a lot of female sisters, and then a lot of females that I grew up around with, or friends and everybody. So that's why I get people engaged with my page and stuff like that, because I'm spreading mostly awareness for females and others, and minors, that watch out. These people, they're setting traps to try to kidnap you guys. So watch out. And
Yeah.
TikTok almost tried to ban me for it.
Oh, a lot of people don't know this, but I actually, I have another account. It's Outsource Facts, and I have all of these videos set to friends only. But there was a period in time where I found a creator on here who was almost at 1 million followers, and it was really random. He started commenting on my videos, and we got into a back and forth, and it was about DoorDash, but we got into a back and forth. And I just ended up blocking him, but he went to my Instagram, sent me voice messages like attacking me. So that led me to start looking more into his page on TikTok. And I see that he has like 800,000 followers. And I was like, what the hell is this guy with 800,000 followers like attacking me for, when I had like nothing? I had like 50. And so I was like, what's going on? I went on his page and I started really looking at his content. And he was grooming kids in his content. He was putting subliminal messages in it. He was putting really inappropriate content, but his content was geared towards children. And I started looking more deeply into him, and I found out all this stuff. And it turned out into like a really big thing. Like Aunt Karen ended up getting involved because he contacted her to say that I was bullying him, but it turned out that he was lying. He was presenting himself to be a teenager, but he was a 26-year-old man, and he's still on this
Golly.
app. TikTok will not take him down. His name is Malik, Maal. Is it two A's? Maleek or Maalek? I don't know.
I I,
He
I
is
always go ahead. My mistake.
he
Go
has
ahead.
like almost 1 million followers, and I ended up exposing him. I have it up on my Instagram. If you guys go on my Instagram, I have two stories highlights with all of the evidence of him grooming kids, of him lying about his age. He lied about his age. I reported him to the FBI and to the Internet Crimes Against Children. So there's an open investigation about him on him because he apparently was also messaging children like between the ages of 8 to 13 and asking for inappropriate photos. So there's all this whole investigation going on, and I don't know if they've even done anything about that because this fucking country doesn't give a shit about the kids. and he's
No,
still
because
up on
that's how they're
TikTok.
getting money.
And TikTok wanted to ban me, and I ended up having to put all my shit on private because he had so many accounts under the age of like 13 or whatever, like children age or whatever, that ended up if he ended up reporting me, it would take me down right away because his age was as that of a minor, and he had
Wow.
like hundreds of accounts that he was reporting me on, and my account was about to get taken down for me exposing a child groomer on TikTok. And I was like, this has to go deeper than what it's happening right now. Like TikTok has to be working with him, because the way that everything was playing out was like TikTok was in on it and they did not give a fuck. They took one video down and that was it of his, even though
That's how they are.
yeah.
Because they even because my following was going places. Like I was about to go to 200,000 followers, and for some reason they send me back to 168 right now. For some reason, they send me backwards to 168, and I'm
Yeah,
like, what the heck is going
they're
on?
deleting your followers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was on the guy's name is Malik. I think it's Maaleak. If you guys click on my Instagram link, go on my Instagram link. I have the story highlights of all of the evidence. It's two story highlights. So go with like the first one and then the second one. You will see all of the evidence of him and all of his shit that I found out. He was like, it was like a huge battle between us. He was like posting, everybody was going to him. Yeah, people were reporting him multiple times. Everybody was calling the FBI crimes against children on him. Like it was like a huge thing. And I ended up just like putting all my shit on private on those stuff because it was just like he kept reporting me and wanting to get me banned. But you guys can see all the evidence on my Instagram. It's still up on my Instagram highlight reels or highlight stories. I'm so sorry.
Now go ahead, man.
Your followers. So when I was I have 3 accounts, and my first account was Alex Serves, which is my Karen Skid account for serving. I joined the Creator Fund when the Creator Fund first came out because they invited me to join it, and they started deleting all of my followers. So I was losing 200 followers a day, and it's because they don't want to pay you when you're in the Creator Fund, so they like shadow ban you and they delete your followers. So I ended up leaving the Creator Fund, and then it was like whatever, they still delete that. Now here I never joined the Creator Fund, but I couldn't get my follower count up because they kept deleting my followers and deleting my likes on my videos and taking my videos down. And people would come on my account and be like, I've literally had to follow you 10 times this week. I keep finding you and they keep deleting.
Somebody leave a comment telling me the same thing.
Yeah. They're doing it to anybody who is speaking out truth. They because before I started talking about all this, my content was about like exposing corporations. So then I would get taken out for bullying and harassment. They would take down my videos. They would delete my followers. They would delete my likes. My view count would be really high, but my likes were like really low. And I was like, I know they're deleting my likes. I would look at my likes before and they'd be like at a certain number, and then the next day they'd be lower. And I'm like, and people were like, I've liked this video 3 times and they keep deleting my like. They keep deleting me. And then now it gets to the point where people can't find me when they look me up. They can't find me when they look me up on TikTok, and they can't find me when they look me up on YouTube or my podcast. I'm like, they're definitely hiding me. They're trying to hide me because of what I'm talking about.
I found you on my For You page. I think it was last week actually. I saw you on my For You page when you were talking about moving into California and your body reacted to heat or something like that. And then when I hear you were talking, I'm like, she sounds very interesting. And then that's when I scrolled to your page and I find the flat Earth video, and then that's when I leave the comment. And I think I like that video also.
Yeah.
And then for some reason the comment was just going crazy because
Yeah. Because
me
it's
I'm a
crazy.
person I'm a person. This is just who I am spiritually. I'm of truth and light. You cannot bring darkness to me and expect me to believe in it. Obviously, I'm gonna feel there's a shift it is not right because this is just we as humans, we're just living a mortal life because we're all spiritual beings living a mortal in the mortal world for a period of time. But
Yeah.
people fail to understand this because the truth, the way our America possess things, they possess the truth as fear and the lie as truth. That's how
Yep.
America is. And it because what you were saying, that the guy was saying, oh, you're harassing and this and the third. I had a feeling that I was going to get something like that coming from you, because that's how America. That's how the Americas, not just America only. The Americas operate. They operate off of the villain being the victim and the victim being the villain. That's all they are.
Yep.
That's how the villains actually portray themselves. They message
Yep.
with you, and then when you lose yourself on them, they play the victim, and then have law enforcement to believe them. Not just white women with tears. People in general, I see do this. Not just white women with tears. They say people in general, I see does this. Black people does this too. I know a
Oh
lot. I know
yeah, and
a
that
lot of
was
them that does this.
he was black, so he tried to use that against me. He went to Aunt Karen because she was black, and so he's like, "Oh,
Yo,
this white girl," and it's like, first of all, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm not white, and second of all,
I can tell you kind of like you giving me like Latin vibes. I can
yeah,
tell.
I'm like, yeah, I'm essentially Caribbean because Puerto Rico is in the Caribbean, but I'm like, no, I'm literally attacking you for grooming children. Like, why are you turning this into a race thing? I don't give a fuck if you could be an alien. I don't care. You're grooming
That's just some
children.
people. That's just some people because they love to try to insinuate certain things to try to get their pass. But you see, those who are aware, those who are awake and not asleep, that fucking shit won't work on. That's just point blank period. Because
Yeah,
if I wasn't awake and I was asleep, I'll be still thinking like how that guy will pull up, how that guy pull his rhetoric off on you. Oh, this white girl is attacking him. No, motherfucker, you doing some crazy shit. We're gonna come for
yeah,
you. What you think
yeah.
this is gonna be?
Yeah, so
So
that
I
was
am.
his downfall. He was trying to cover his tracks so much that he went to Aunt Karen and was like, "Oh my God, like she's like attacking me." And so Aunt Karen, before even like finding out 100%, was like, "Okay,
Do a
hold on."
research as always.
Yeah, so she ended up messaging me because I was also tagging her because I was like, okay, I need a bigger creator, right? So I ended up tagging her and people started tagging her in my videos. And so it just so happened that like he reached out to her before like I could kind of thing. And then she saw that I was tagging her. And so then she's like, okay, wait, so what's going on? So then she like started questioning me because obviously he got to her first and was kind of like, okay, well, what's your side? So I sent her all the evidence. I was like, he's 26. I have all the records. I had all of his date of birth. I had everything. Like we did background checks on him. I'm like, here you go. Sent her literally everything. And so that's when she was like, oh, so he's lying to me. And so that's when she ended up exposing him because she was like, oh, had I not gone to her and gotten all the info, I would have just talked shit on her without knowing the truth. And I was like, yeah, I do my fucking research. I know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not lying. And people, when that happened, people are like, oh good, I'm glad because like I didn't want to have to cancel Alex. And I'm like, wow, you guys just really just jump on a train without doing any research on your own.
That's always the case. They love to jump off the building without a parachute and dive in a pool of conclusion and drown themselves. That's
Yeah.
always the case. The parachute is
Yeah.
the proof that they don't got, so they just jump off. And then the
Yeah.
conclusions is all their misconstruity that they believe in their own lies actually. And it's crazy
People just
because even go ahead.
People need to watch the movie They Live, which I haven't watched it yet, but it's from the 80s and it's about like when they put the glasses on, they can see like the truth about everything. It's like obey, buy, sell. Like it's about the government and how they're brainwashing you. But then like when he takes the glasses off, everything looks normal, but then when he puts them back on, he sees the truth. That's what we're going through. And like they've been telling us this for so long and we still don't want to believe it. It's all
Yeah,
propaganda.
look how the West just oh my God, the West. Sometimes I wonder why was I even born in these parts? To be honest, I ask this question a lot. Why? Because everywhere is just tampered with. From Canada to the Caribbean to South America is just tampered with. A whole bunch of lies. It's all tampered with.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
it's
somebody
crazy.
said Tomorrowland. I haven't watched Tomorrowland, but when I was on my trip, I kept saying Tomorrowland over and over, so I guess I have to watch it. I have
Even with that same creator that you just mentioned, Aunt Karen, sometimes I feel like she needs to dig deep first before she make her videos. Because sometimes I see she messed herself up. Same what she did
Yeah,
recently with the land situation. Same what she did
yeah.
recently. Look how she hung herself in that whole situation right there. Calling.
Exactly. That community, she's the only one that I had contact with because of that situation, which I was grateful for because, like thank God I had all the evidence to prove myself right and my innocence. But besides that community of like calling out Karens or exposing people, I just feel like it's so messy and like I just don't think it's not a way to help humanity by like attacking one person, because the cancel culture is just getting out of control. Like,
You know, it's so funny. Content creators like that, and this is just things in general in today's world. Whenever money got their hands onto anything, it's just going to become a whole bunch of it's just going to become a whole plate of corruption. Because ever since corporation get a hold onto Aunt Karen, she kind of acting funny now. Because because money can change people. This is
oh
facts.
yeah, and that's
It
why
can
like,
it really can.
yeah, and that's why I don't do any like brand deals or anything. And my sister would like, or whoever will, my friends will ask me like, "Oh my god, like you blew up, like you can do brand deals now." I'm like, "I don't want to do brand deals. That is selling out to me. Like I don't want to do brand deals. Why would I want to do something that like I highly speak against?" So, I'm like, they're like, "Well, how are you going to make money off of it?" I'm like, "I don't care about making money off of it. If I cared about making money, I wouldn't be on TikTok, because TikTok does not pay shit. And I definitely wouldn't be making the content that I make, because again, I'm not in support of corporations, so they're not going to want to work with me, and that's okay. I'll figure something else out. I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I don't want to be a content creator like everyone else. You know what? I had somebody
Money.
message me on some guy messaged me on Instagram and was like, "Oh, congratulations, you're the first girl that I follow that doesn't have an OnlyFans." And it's like, well, first of all, I don't care, and second of all, like, why are you congratulating me? Like, I don't give a shit. I don't know who you are. I was like, delete.
Like simple.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yes, I'm on YouTube. It's Alex Serves. It all my stuff is in my link tree. So my Instagram, YouTube, my podcast, everything's in my link tree.
I always say whenever a corporation get their hands onto anything, it's just gonna become watered down, and it's just gonna become a whole plate of corruption. Because ever since some corporate entity got hold of Von Karen, she's not the same no more. Because when she was bringing the fire, she was bringing the fire. Now she's just bringing some topsy turvy kind of shit coming your way nowadays. Because look at the fact that she and Lance and all of these guys, they were good friends, and look how she helped Fauzi accuse this man of SA. We're not gonna say that word on TikTok. You know, TikTok is funny now, and not just even TikTok. The world is funny now. You can't say anything nowadays
Mm-mm.
because
Yeah,
cancel culture is really getting out of hand,
and
and cancel culture is very hypocrisy.
that was such a stupid distraction. Like the whole Chelsea thing, it was just such a stupid, like it really was all the world's a stage moment. It really was. I'm like, I was
It
watching
was,
the videos and I was like, what is wrong with this chick? Like, is she okay? Like she recorded this and posted it and thought it was okay to do. Like, what are you trying to get out of these people? It's like the sympathy card, the victim mentality. Like, it's just, it
and
was
people
so
came
messy.
along and some people actually come along and expose her and said that's how she actually is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
People
I
that
heard
worked with her
about
in
that.
the past come and expose her, and
That
I'm
she
like,
did that in
whoa,
like the UK or something as well.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
And
I'm like, and
and I
it's
think
crazy
also
because these
Ireland.
people like blow up so fast, and like then the truth comes out about them, and people just like don't care to like do the research on who they really are. That's why I'm always like really upfront about me. I'm like, y'all can't find shit on me because I tell all my secrets out in the open, because I'm okay with who I am, and I'm like, I don't lie about anything. So I'm just like, yeah, this is me. What are you gonna do? You have nothing against me because I literally tell you guys everything.
And you know, and it's so funny when she did that, man. I'm like, bro, what are you guys are doing? And they're calling him an essay. I'm like, oh my god. And the
She
fact
was
that she,
mad because she got played. Essentially, it was not that serious. It was so stupid. Like, and we're like
you
all
should know what.
adults.
You know, I always use this. I always use this analogy. Listen, if you cannot swim, don't jump off into deep end waters. If you cannot swim, just just don't do it. If you're not ready for that kind of road, don't drive that down. If you're not ready for that kind of road, don't drive that path because
Yeah,
your car's gonna get fucked by some ditch holes.
yeah.
Like seriously,
I know.
seriously.
That's kind of
I
what
don't.
happens with me when people try to mess with me. I'm like, I don't know why you're trying to mess with me, because I'm gonna end up winning. And I always do end up winning. And then you get mad about it. And I'm like, well, you shouldn't have messed with me. I didn't do anything to you. You wanted to come at me.
I said the same thing because because people when people messes with me, they end up getting hurt spiritually, not by my physical hands. Nah,
Exactly. That's happened to me my whole life. Anytime somebody comes after me, I'm like, ooh, you fucked with the wrong one, because I have a lot of power behind me spiritually, and
your
they will take
Taínos,
care of you.
your Taínos ancestors is with you. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I think it's like 20% indigenous Puerto Rico. So yeah, for sure.
I
And
I
the
know
other
I
one is
know
like Spain
I know
and
I got a
Africa.
little bit of Taíno, but I'm mainly Ashanti. I'm
Oh,
mainly Ashanti and then Akon. So
nice.
those are the
Yeah.
people.
And I think that's also why maybe I am, I've always been spiritual. I'm sure my ancestors are like trying to remind me.
And also I got Cherokee too. Some people
Oh,
some people try to use native as a flex. I'm like, so am I. When they try to use like ancestral as a flex, I'm like, I am the same thing as you. Relax.
mm, yeah.
You know, it's crazy, man. Because people when they try to use some things as a flex, they oftentimes don't know who they're talking to
Yeah,
because they
exactly.
believe everybody's falling for the trap. It's
Yeah.
like it's like fair skin indigenous, like fair skin that are like you indigenous. They're like, oh, I'm native. I'm like, so am I. Cherokee from the south. What's up? And they're like, oh, you are? I'm like, yes, I am. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, because that's how the world. That's how many revolve their minds around in today's world because of what they see.
Yeah.
You
I
understand
love
what
when
I'm saying?
people talk Spanish in front of me about me. And then I just talk
Oh
to
my
those
God.
that are like, oh, I'm like,
Portuguese. Cause my mom said it's from Brazil, and like here, like the Portuguese they speak, the Brazilians they speak sometimes. And one of them was actually recently, actually, a female. I was there with my girlfriend next to me, and she was trying to like hit upon me quietly, like it's like doing, how females are, they push themselves up, like like one guy's attention. So I noticed that she was doing that, and then she was saying stuff in Portuguese. And I looked at her and said, babe, that girl is actually talking about me right there. But poor girl don't even know that I know what she's saying.
oh my gosh.
Like
I
poor girl,
know.
I
It's so
literally
funny.
don't even know.
It's so funny.
It is.
Oh,
But when she did that, I was crying, man. Like, come on.
yeah.
It's sad,
Well,
man.
all right. Well, I'm gonna get off here. It's getting late. But thank you for joining. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
I gave you a follow.
Oh, thank you. I'll try to find you after this.
Oh, no
Uh
worries.
TV.
But it was oh my God, it was an honor speaking to you, man. Because
Oh, thank you.
when I seen that when I click on the video, I seen your thing said you're live. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy.
I
And then that's when
know.
I come in and send in the request.
I know, it's so random because I like hardly go live, to be honest, because I will stay on here for so long. And so I'm like, oh, I can't go live because I know I'm gonna be on here for like hours. So I try not to go on because it always ends up being like 2 hours. But I usually like to take my live and put it up on YouTube or my podcast. So if you guys missed any part of this, you guys can find it on my YouTube or my podcast. Both are up in my link tree. I'll probably put it up in a little bit. I still have to put up my other Expose the Pepper pot episode first, and then I'll put this one up or whatever I feel like doing. But yeah, so
It's
they'll be on there.
that's right there. That right there, that's the spirit of our ancestors right there, man. For this to happen right here. Because I'm all for one unity, one united Caribbean.
Yes,
I don't care if you're from the French colonies or the Spanish colonies or the Dutch colonies or English. I stand for the Caribbean. This is I stand for Africa. That's
yes.
what
We all just need to come together. All of us from everywhere, every corner of the earth needs to come together in
you're
unity.
right. If I was thinking like some people that look like me because you're fair skin, I would have bought into, oh, she's a white girl. Why the fuck am I here with a white girl talking to her about this? If I was arrogant and ignorant like that. But too
Right?
bad.
Yeah,
It's one
exactly.
connection. It's one connection, Queen.
Yeah,
Pleasure talking to you.
that's right. We are all one.
Yep.
Have a good night. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, you too. Salute. Take care.